Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the infamous Sylvia's channel, where we're doing the reenactment of what's happening in the federal court in Chicago, Illinois. Well, it's federal court, the state of Illinois, where Mr. Kelly is being tried on the case of conspiracy, the child pornography, and some other counts. Since some of you guys don't have the opportunity to be in the courtroom, what we decided is to do a reenactment of what's happening in the courtroom. What you're going to hear is the continuation of the testimony given by the the victim witness by the name of Jane, and most of us know her already because we are very familiar with the 2008 case, which is Rashonda Lansfair. So, without further ado, I would like to bring my cast, those who are reading and reenacting exactly what happened in court. Again, right now we're going to have our illustrious person who runs the courtroom, the court clerk slash court everything duty, the ones that take care of everything having to do with the court. We have our own duty person. Hey!
Hey,
All right, we have the prosecutors team. Okay, our prosecutors team is being played by our own Henny Hen. She's going to be playing the Julian guy, and the other lady, she's taking care of all the prosecution because you know why? She can handle them. Hey.
hey, everybody, blessings. Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna move on to the attorney that's for oh no, sorry. We have the other prosecutor individual who handles the prosecution of Miss Apprenteg. I don't know how to say her name, but here we go, Miss Tamiria.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Tamiria.
Without further ado, we know who handles Mr. Kelly's side of the fence is Miss Bonji.
Hey.
Woo woo. Howdy, howdy.
Hey, and
Hey, hey, hey.
now we have the star of the day, which is the Lansfair lady herself being played by our own perspective.
The star that we love to hate.
Hey, y'all, perspective.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know you guys have been waiting long, and I've been getting so many responses, and they're like, "We want you to do it. We want you to do it. We heard it being read, but we want you to reenact it." So we're doing a second replay of this. All right. Let's begin.
In
Right.
in the in the United States District Court for Northern District of Illinois Eastern District, United States of America, plaintiff versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, aka R. Kelly, Daryl McDavid, and Milton Brown, aka June Brown. And
The date, ma'am.
proceedings heard in open court, jury out.
All right.
I'm doing a court I'm
Yeah.
doing a court also.
Everything have to do with the court.
Okay. The government wants to raise some points. So as soon as you sit down, I think everybody is here. Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. We are tendering, Your Honor, with the proposed jury instruction. Yesterday, when the government moved to admit Government Exhibit 2, which contains video 2 and 3, Miss Bonjean objected and stated that she didn't know what the exhibit was and asked whether this was one of the exhibits the government provided to her. Miss Appendix said, "No, we cannot provide it to you because it's contraband." Miss Bonjean responded, "That seems fair." Her comment about discovery took place in front of the jury, and contrary to her representation that she would not discuss discovery matter in front of the jury, that motion in limine number 10 before trial, the government moved to exclude this precise type of commentary, especially as it relates to child pornography, which cannot be turned over to the defense. They have to come review it in a controlled setting, which was done in this case by each of the defendants' counsel. So we think it's improper that the jury now has the impression that the government is not making evidence available to the defendant, which is not the case. We're asking that Your Honor give this two-sentence instruction which states, you heard testimony yesterday about the government exhibit 1 and 2 that contains what is referred as video 1, 2, and 3. Somebody need to mute, please. Prior to trial, government exhibit 1 and exhibit 2 remains available.
Okay, Ms. Bonjean, how do you respond?
Well, first of all, it wasn't provided to us, and I wasn't suggesting that the contents of it. They handed an exhibit that they didn't even give us a photocopy of. It was a CD, and they didn't give us a copy of even the front of the photo of the CD. So when I asked, there are so many copies of these things. So I said, which I think, since it wasn't in our book of exhibits, was this provided to us? It was the U.S. attorney that said no. She didn't say, yes, counselor, it was provided to us, provided to you. It's the same. She said no. It wasn't because it's contraband. I have every right to know precisely what this witness was looking at, and I simply asked to. I wasn't asking for the imagery. I was asking for what is the actual physical thing you're presenting for her right now. And we weren't provided with a copy of it. So, first of all, this instruction is wrong. It wasn't provided to us, and the AUSA admitted as such. She didn't have to admit that in front of the jury. I didn't ask her to. I just said, can you just show it to us? And when she said, no, we didn't provide it to you, I said, okay, can I? She says, I can show it to you. And I said, that seems fair. That wasn't a discovery.
Well, you have it. Was made available for you for your review, wasn't it?
I don't know what's on those things. I don't know what's on those discs. I have to take the government's word for.
Your Honor, that is,
What's on those discs?
Your Honor, this is disingenuous because we have provided an exhibit list weeks ago, repeatedly reminding defense counsel if they wish to review the child pornography, can be made. We have done that several times in this case. Ms. Bonjean herself came to HSI and reviewed those images.
Yes, the images. But what they were presenting to the witness, I don't know what they did. They could have just copied it and said, this is what she looked at. Here's the date she looked at it because she put a date on it. Here are her initials. That was not provided. So they're the ones that are being disingenuous. They are asking us to take their word when there's a bazillion copies of these things out there.
All right. I don't feel it's necessary to make a big deal out of this at this time. We'll see how things play out from now on. So I'm going to leave it alone, and I will not give that instruction at this precise time. One thing, however, there did show up a problem of what to call the various minors synonym
Pseudonyms.
pseudonyms. So as will all of the witnesses that from here on out will they be schooled on what the specific minors nicknames or pseudonyms is?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that won't pose a problem then.
No, it will not, Your Honor. And one other thing I wanted to raise as relate to the witness after Jane is concluded. We will be calling Special Agent Ms. Lissa Cypherman to publish the child pornography to the jury. And pursuant to your ruling on motion in limine number 4, you granted government unopposed request that the courtroom be cleared of public spectators, the overflow courtrooms be disconnected, and that the jury and the parties are the only individuals here, so that in the upcoming during Agent Cypherman testimony likely today.
Any comments?
Well, one comment is again, the government has not provided us with the actual clips they intend to use. I feel we are entitled to have the clips designated. These are 30-minute tapes. They're not using all the tapes, which they shouldn't, but we still should know what they're using
Well,
from those tapes.
I don't think it's necessary to clear the courtroom. I think but I would suggest that everybody turn their monitors away from the public area. I don't see any particular reason that.
Your Honor, there's audio. There's very graphic audio and
Well, the audio.
there's no way to prevent viewing. The monitors are all over the courtroom.
I don't think the audio is the problem. It's the viewing of it. So I don't think we need to clear the courtroom. But just for those on that side of this side, turn the monitor.
Can we at least know, I'm sorry, Judge, go ahead. Could we at least know how long these clips are that they're playing? We just don't have any information about what they are.
Yes. How long are the clips?
The clips are going to be between 30 seconds and 2 minutes.
Okay.
And so in total, we've significantly cut down the videos. And again, Your Honor, the exhibit listed containing the number of clips was provided a long time ago to the defense counsel. And they had very opportunity to review it. And they just
All right.
haven't decided on, and now they want to make an issue of it.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll proceed that way, but I don't see the need to. But please, turn your monitors away from the corner and the side. Otherwise, ready for the jury.
If I may very quickly, last night after minor one testified, I contacted the government and requested that they not be contacted, but to be speaking with her because she's still on the stand, and they confirmed that they did not have any intention of doing so. But then about 11 o'clock, I got an email about the government's victim liaison at the U.S. Attorney's Office who had a conversation. The government's not going to use that conversation. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about what the content is, but this individual that's escorting any of the minors in this case, I just want to make sure she is a member of this prosecution team and that she is admonished for not be having conversation with the content of this prosecution. I understand she's prepared. I really don't know exactly what her job is at the U.S. Attorney's Office with these now adults that were once minors, but they what the government is calling victim. So she was here in court. She brings her in, she leaves with her, but she cannot be having conversation with her because she is also a member of the prosecution team when the witness is in between testimony.
I assume that the liaison does not discuss testimony. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, ready for the jury. Have the jury come in. Please. Thank you.
And Your Honor, does your instruction to stretch the artist still stand in terms of not sketching the witness's face?
Yes. I happened to watch the news this morning and I don't know who it was on WGN. I don't know whose it was, but it was properly made indescribable. Whatever. And where is the witness? Proceedings heard in open court. Jury in. Please be seated. The witnesses can resume the stand. Who is going to go first? Miss Judd, Miss Bogine?
Brown's defense will go first.
Pardon?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay. This is the witness en route?
Mr. Pendant.
I'm coming, y'all. Hold on. I was on mute. Yes, Your Honor. The CSOs are moving throughout the building with her.
All rise. Please be seated.
Your Honor. Your Honor, you're not finished.
Miss Leon, you may question the
Oh,
witness.
Thank you, Judge. Hi,
Jane,
Jane.
Jane government witness previously sworn direct examination.
Hi, Jane.
Good morning.
Do you need a second to get?
No, I'm okay.
My name is Kathleen Leon. I am an attorney for Mr. Brown, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a few questions about your testimony yesterday, okay?
Okay.
So, yesterday, you talked about surprising Mr. Kelly when you showed him your tattoo.
Yes.
And I believe you said he wasn't upset about it, but he needed you to get it covered up.
Correct.
And to do that, he asked you to go to a tattoo parlor.
Correct.
And to fill in the tattoo, cover up his name.
Yes.
Okay. And that was because at the time, you were both denying the nature of your relationship to the world.
Correct.
I think you said yesterday that Mr. Kelly let you know that Milton was going to pick you up
Yes.
and take you to the tattoo shop for this cover up.
Correct.
Mr. Kelly had already given you instruction on what you needed to do.
Correct.
Okay. And yesterday, you testified that Mr. Kelly went through great length to keep the sexual relationship between the two of you secret.
Correct.
And that meant lying to everyone around you.
Correct.
Because if anyone found out you were concerned, they would threaten to ruin his life,
Correct.
and he was concerned,
Yes.
and they could, in fact, ruin his life with this information.
Yes.
And you also said yesterday you weren't there when Mr. Kelly called Milton Brown and told him to pick you up.
Correct.
So, do you know what Mr. Kelly told Mr. Milton Brown?
No,
You having no idea if he told Milton why you were having to tattoo covered up?
I don't.
Okay. All you know is that Mr. Kelly needed to keep his secrets secret.
Correct.
Okay. So let's talk about the drive to the tattoo parlor. But first, let's talk about some rules. Mr. Kelly had some rules for you, right?
Yes.
And this included even how you behave when you are being driven somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. And these rules were meant to control you
Yes.
and control his employees.
Yes. Correct.
That was part of his way of hiding this secret.
Yes.
Okay. Making sure that he can continue living his double life.
Yes.
Okay. The men who worked for Mr. Kelly could not speak to any of his guests or artists.
Yes.
Yes, and could not speak to them.
Right.
Okay. They would get into trouble if they did.
Yes.
Even get fired?
Yes.
Not paid?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Kelly would even get mad at you if you broke the rules.
Correct.
So you followed the rules.
Yes.
Okay. So when you get into the car with Milton, you sit in the back seat.
Correct.
He's the chauffeur.
Yes.
Okay. Even if there's only you in the car, you still sitting in the back seat.
Yes.
I think you said yesterday you had no conversation about the tattoo with Milton.
Right.
You had no conversation at all with Milton on the way there?
No.
Okay. And you had no conversation with him because you knew the rules.
Correct.
So now we're going to move on to
Correct.
when you, huh? Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Correct.
Ah. So now we're going to move on when you get into the tattoo parlor. Okay. Again, Mr. Kelly had already given you direction on what was going to happen. Milton was going to drive you there and you were going to get the tattoo covered up.
Yes.
So, when you get into the tattoo parlor, it wasn't what you expected. It was a house.
Yes.
Milton lets you know you've arrived at the address. I just need a verbal answer.
Yes.
Okay. And you and Milton go into the house.
Yes.
And even though it looked like a home from the outside, when you get inside, it's actually been transformed into a tattoo parlor.
Yes.
So you walk into what looks like a living room area,
Yes.
and that area is kind of like a waiting area, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then they take you to a private area or something that has a little tattoo set up.
Yes.
Like any other tattoo shop.
Correct.
And it's like sanitized location. People aren't just walking around freely.
Correct.
Okay. You said yesterday that you spoke to the tattoo artist
Yes.
and you let them know the direction that Mr. Kelly had given you.
Yes.
And you had a tattoo you needed to get covered up.
Yes.
Okay. The artist did just that. He covered up the tattoo. I think you said he shaded it in.
Yes.
Okay. When you were done, you came out and you left, and you and Milton left.
Yes.
And okay. And yesterday you testified that Milton never talked to the tattoo artist.
Correct.
And you also said yesterday that you had no conversation with Milton on the drive back to, I believe it was the studio.
Yes.
Okay. I want to move on to the bags that you were talking about.
Yes.
Okay. So Milton not only drives you, but he drives a lot of people, right?
Yes.
Guests, artists, other celebrities, Mr. Kelly's friend.
Yes.
It's fair to say that R. Kelly, the celebrity, is not carrying his own bags and luggage and bags when he gets to his destination.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but not all the time.
Right.
Okay. Milton was not only one who had the job of carrying Kelly's bags, right?
You skip down. Correct.
Okay, he got people to do that most of the time.
Yes.
Okay, Milton not only had I'm sorry, Milton was not only one who had the job of carrying Kelly's bag, right?
Correct.
Can you name some other people who had this job?
Just other employees that were working for him.
Other employees like Tom Arnold,
Yes.
George Kelly, who I think is nicknamed Junebug.
Correct.
Okay, even more than that.
Yes.
Okay, and you've never seen any other employees like chauffeurs go through R. Kelly's or his celebrities guest bags, right?
No.
Okay. May I confer, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Bargine, you may question the witness.
Okay. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning.
My name is Jennifer, and I represent Mr. Kelly.
Excuse me?
If I understand your testimony correctly, you had about a 12-year relationship with Robert. Is that right?
Yes.
And I think you testified yesterday that this relationship commenced sexual relationship when you were around 14 or around that time in 1998ish. Is that about right?
Correct.
And then ultimately you left the relationship, I think in 2010. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Okay, and that means you were about 26 years old, if my math is correct, give or take.
Yes.
And you said yesterday that when you left, you moved into an apartment, I think in University Park. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that he helped you get set up there with rent, paying for the rent, and getting you an apartment there. Is that right?
Correct.
And I think you also said that he made sure that you had transportation. I think you mentioned a Denali or something like that.
Yes.
And that was like a Denali. That wasn't brand new. That was something that was used, right?
Correct.
Okay, and you testified in 2002 before the grand jury in Cook County when you were 17 years old, right?
Yes.
And you understand that at 17 years old in the state of Illinois, you were considered an adult.
Correct.
All right. And you were still in a relationship with Robert at that time, correct?
Yes.
And by the point, the relationship was a legal relationship because you were of legal age in terms of consenting, right?
Objection, Your Honor. Excuse me. Objection, Your Honor. Calls for a legal conclusion that the witness may not be aware of.
Were
Well, overruled by Miss Brooke. Okay.
okay. Were you aware that at 17 you were actually permitted to have a relationship with him in the eyes of the law in Illinois, right?
I was not aware of that.
Okay.
I thought it was the age 18.
Okay. And at the time, in 2008, when Robert was prosecuted for the charges related to child pornography, you also were still in a relationship with him. Is that right?
Yes.
And in fact, at that time, you were about 24 years old, correct?
Correct.
And you were living with him, right?
Yes.
And his wife was living there too, right?
Yes.
And you claim that Robert, after this time, became abusive and controlling. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, but before that, the relationship wasn't abusive or controlling. It was after the 2008 prosecution and subsequent acquittal, right?
It got worse during that time.
All right. And this behavior that you're talking about, this increased abuse that you were talking about, this didn't have anything to do with his 2008 acquittal, I assume, right?
No.
The case was over and done with at that point, correct?
Right.
And you put it behind you at that point, correct?
Yes.
Robert put it behind him at that point, right?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm sorry. Speculation as to what Mr. Robert Kelly knew.
Well, you were living with him, weren't you?
Yes.
You talked to him pretty regularly, given the fact that you lived with him and I guess his wife, right?
Correct.
In fact, you also had a sexual relationship with him and his wife, right?
That's what he wanted.
You did that, though, as an adult, right?
Correct.
And you understood that after 2008 acquittal from your conversations with Robert, that this all is in the past, right?
Correct.
Now, when you did move out, strike that. Let me ask you one other thing. You testified that you weren't allowed to work when you were living with Robert, but that's not true, right?
No, I was not allowed to work.
Weren't you going to school at Moraine Community College, going to classes there?
Correct. But I was also not able to choose what I wanted to go to school for.
Okay, but you were also working at a daycare center, isn't that right?
After the trial, yes, that is correct.
Even before, you were working at a daycare center and going to classes, correct?
No.
All right. Well, do you remember being interviewed by the U.S. attorneys back, let's see, on May 3rd of 2019?
I don't remember the dates. I'm sorry. I don't remember the dates, but if you can refresh my memory, I'm not saying that didn't happen.
And at that point, you admitted that you were taking childhood courses at Moraine Valley College for approximately 1.5 to 2 years, right?
Yes.
So he didn't prevent you from taking classes at a community college, right?
Well, during the trial, I was not able to go to school for what I wanted to study, is all I'm saying.
Okay, we're talking about after the acquittal, okay? That's the time frame I like to focus on.
Yes, after that, I was able to. That is correct.
Right. And he paid for that, right?
Yes.
Now, after you moved out, you maintained a very tight relationship with Robert, didn't you?
Yes.
Despite how terribly abusive it was, according to you, you remained close to him, correct?
He wasn't like that all the time.
Mm-hmm. In fact, your whole family was very close to him.
Yes.
Even after you broke up because of this alleged abusive relationship, right?
Yes.
Indeed, your dad worked pretty consistently with Robert between 1998 and 2011. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
He worked with Robert before the sex tape scandal came and after it was all over, correct?
Yes.
And even after you left Robert, he worked with your dad, right?
Yes.
In fact, your father was a guitarist, as I understand it. Is that correct?
Yes.
And as I understand it, a very talented guitarist. You'd agree with that, I assume.
Correct.
He worked with people other than R. Kelly, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, that album that you identified on the wall of Robert's studio that had all those platinum and I think it was called Aura or Reality, is that what it's called?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, well, you identified it. Should we put the picture up or do you know which one I'm talking about?
I know which one you're referencing. Yes.
And your dad worked on that album, didn't he?
Yes.
In fact, that's the album for which Mr. Kelly received a Grammy, right?
Yes.
That's the album that has the song I Believe I Can Fly on it, right?
Yes.
And that's the album your father worked on in 199 late 1997, 98 before there was any sex tape scandal, correct?
Yes.
Your father worked on a number of albums with Mr. Kelly, correct?
Yes.
And he worked with other artists, correct?
Correct.
And this was all before the tape that became public in 2002 was released, right?
Correct.
And it was your aunt who released that tape.
I'm sorry?
It was your aunt that released that tape to Jim Derogatis, right?
To my understanding, yes.
Sparkle?
Correct.
Her real name is Stephanie Edwards.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Now, your father worked on the Grammy nominated album Love Letter in 2011, right?
Yes.
And that was after you and Mr. Kelly were completely over with romantically, right?
Yes.
And after you and Robert broke up, you cared about him and he cared about you, right?
Yes.
Even after you broke up, you sometimes came back together and had intimate times together. Is that fair?
Yes.
And he helped you out from time to time with finances and things you needed, correct?
Correct.
For instance, you testified that in 2014 and 2015, Robert helped you with rent payments, right?
Yes.
I think it looked like your rent was what, about 1100, 1100. Does that sound about right during that period?
Yes.
And Robert wasn't writing checks to you. He would delegate that to somebody, right?
Correct.
Objection, Your Honor. That's speculation as to what Mr. Kelly was doing.
Well, I can clarify.
What he was doing, I don't see how that speculation overruled.
You would receive checks not directly from Robert, but from somebody that worked for Robert, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you receive wire transfers from somebody who would initiate those wires, right?
Yes.
And having spent 12 years plus a whole friendship afterwards with Robert, you're aware that he wasn't the person that would manage his finances personally, right?
Correct.
He had managers who did that, correct?
Yes.
He wasn't someone who was intimately involved in the business side of things. He was the artist, correct?
Yes.
And he also struggled with things like math and reading and writing, all those things, right?
Yes.
So he delegated those activities to people like Mr. McDavid, correct?
Yes.
And then there were other managers as well. Were you familiar with some of Robert's other managers?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. And after you broke up, you would continue to go to his concerts, right?
Yes.
Your family would go to his concerts.
Yes.
Your brother, I understand, it is also a musician. Is that correct?
Correct.
And he would also attend events that Robert would invite you to, correct?
Yes.
And after you, in 2008, after he was acquitted, this relationship that you had with Robert, it wasn't centered at all around the scandal and the 2008 acquittal, was it?
No.
In fact, that was a subject matter that you and Mr. Kelly did not want to talk about, correct?
No.
You didn't?
No. Excuse me?
Now, I want to show you, well, strike that. I'm sorry. In September of 2008, this would have been,
Thank you.
let me back up a second. You're familiar with the docu-series Surviving R. Kelly, right?
Correct.
And you're aware that it was premiered in like January of 2019, right?
Yes.
Because your life kind of changed when that came out, right?
Yes.
But before that, late 2018, you were communicating regularly with Robert via text and sometimes on the phone, right?
Yes.
I'm going to mark this as, hold on one second. Okay, I'm going to have you look at the screen, okay? And because I don't want you to say something publicly, we're going to mark this as Defendants 100 for identification purposes. Okay, and can you pull out the bottom there, Miss Judge?
Excuse me if I may, just for clarification, if we could label your exhibit defendant Kelly so we can separate them.
Sure.
I'm
That
sorry,
would
my,
be,
my phone was stuck. Sorry.
okay, go ahead. 14 series.
14.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, do you see the screen?
Yes.
If you can look at the bottom there, not the blue part, but right below it, I don't want to put it,
There's nothing on my screen.
okay, I don't want to put it publicly on the record, but do you recognize your phone number there at the bottom or your old phone number there at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, And do you recognize Mr. Kelly's phone number right above it, the one that begins with the 6?
I don't remember the number, but
Okay.
it looks familiar.
Okay, so let's go. I'm going to have you scroll through that. Go to the next page and take a look. And go ahead and read it to yourself. And then,
It's actually not legible.
okay, how about that?
Okay.
Read it to yourself, and then you can tell me if you recognize it. Go to the next page next. Keep going. Do you remember these exchanges?
Yes.
And they were exchanges with Mr. Kelly, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do they appear to be your communications with Mr. Kelly during this time period, right before the release of Surviving R. Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, Judge, I would offer them into evidence not for the truth of the matter asserted, but for the respect of state of mind.
Any objection? Hearing none, they're admitted. You may publish them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The government objects to the publishing. It has the witness's telephone number on it, and it's not redacted.
Oh, okay.
We'll redact it.
I understand. It's not a working number, is it?
No, it's not a working number, but we'll still redact it.
It can still be used to identify, even though it's not working, Your Honor.
That's fine. We'll redact it.
Okay, redacted. Other than that, you may publish.
It's not, that's not the one. That's not what, while we're redacting, Your Honor, I'll keep asking some questions, okay?
Okay.
Let's go to the next page. It has been redacted.
So, should I publish it?
I would move to publish. I think the judge said okay.
No, it isn't. It's not redacted yet.
Yes, it can be published.
It's on the next multiple pages though.
I understand I'm going to do it as we go.
So we'll go to the next page. It is redacted. What are you referencing?
Why don't you proceed with the rest of them while they're being redacted, and then you can show them all?
That's not her phone number that you're pointing to. That's not her phone number.
Then it's not relevant.
I have to go to the next page.
So are we publishing this page that is not her phone number?
Do you see the bottom part? It had their phone numbers. We just redacted her phone number. It has Mr. Kelly's phone number, and then it had her number. We redacted it.
So the messages that she does not identify as being hers shouldn't be appearing on the screen.
That's not true. I'm going to the next page.
Wait. Lex, is there an objection on the floor? And if so, state the basis of the objection.
The objection is relevance. Relevance. I'm sorry. The defense counsel has just indicated that there's numbers on here, telephone numbers that are neither James or Mr. Kelly. So those messages should not be there. We understand that the numbers that are the messages between them, the numbers are redacted.
Okay.
Judge.
I was under the impression that she identified these messages and that there's a phone number on there which has long not been used. So I don't see what the problem is.
And we just redacted them. They're just looking at a portion of the documents that we had to look at the bottom half of the page. So we've now moved on to the next page. Okay. Jane, ready? Okay. These are your messages to Mr. Kelly, right?
Correct.
And the date on that is September the 26th, 2018, correct?
Yes.
And you sent him a message saying, I'm next to you, LOL. And then you said, let's share a toast for my 34th glow day, right?
Correct.
What's a glow day?
It was my birthday.
So you wanted to celebrate your birthday with him in September of 2018, right?
We were in the same party.
Okay, well, you sent him a link to where you were going to be hosting your birthday, right?
That sounds about right. Sorry?
Okay. And then you had to change the location of your birthday, right?
I don't remember that, but that could be true.
You said, also tonight I had to change the location. Joy District at 8 o'clock, right?
Yes.
And did you, in fact, have a birthday celebration there at 8 o'clock?
Yes.
Did he attend?
I don't think so. No.
He didn't respond to your messages, actually, right? At least these messages, correct?
That could be true. That's not what I see on the screen. So, yeah.
All right. Are we able to go to the next page? And honestly, Judge, this isn't even her number. She changed her number since. So I'm just going to keep going.
Your Honor, the government still objects as it can be used to identify her, which we noted earlier.
Yeah, keep going. I don't see any problem if the number isn't in, has no connection with her anymore or even exists. So go ahead.
Okay, go to the next one, Ashley, please.
Can I do it a non-redacted?
Yes, go to the next page. Okay. Then you sent him a text saying, hope to see you. And then he didn't respond. On October the 15th, 2018, you said, my mom lost her mother. Check on her when you get a moment, please. Right?
Yes.
Because Mr. Kelly was close to your mother, right?
Yes.
Even at this point, isn't that fair? That's correct, right?
Yes.
And he responded a little bit later and he said, wow, I just got this. Sorry to hear that. Send me her number, please. Which you did, right?
Yes.
And he said, I'm okay. How are you doing? And you said, my heart is heavy, but it will get better with time, right?
Correct.
The next page. Then you asked him, what have you been up to? And he said, I understand you're talking to the mirror right now, but you're right. It will all get better if you really believe that, like I do. And you responded, I can only imagine. I think about you and pray for you often. He responded, and it's working. I appreciate it. And you said, I feel it. So I know you do. And then you said, let me know when you can catch up. Go to the next page. And you said, okay. And he said, okay, baby, just stay on my radar. It's all good. And you said, will do. And then you reached out to him on December 30th of 2018. WYA. What does that mean?
Where you at?
And he didn't respond, right?
No.
And then you said, hey, and go to the next page. And then he says, Happy New Year, Shorty. Shorty is one of your nicknames, right?
Yes.
And you said, hey, Happy New Year. Peace, loving, and blessings. You going to Oceans? What is Oceans?
It's a strip club.
And you said a strip club?
Yes.
And what was being celebrated there, if you remember?
I don't remember, but I'm sure he was like hosting or something like that.
He was hosting?
I said I believe he was hosting or something like that.
Okay. Or I don't know if it was a birthday. I don't know. Oh, okay.
Or I don't know if it was a birthday. I don't know exactly.
Well, except that he responded, no, we at the studio. You can pull up if you want, right?
Right.
So he wasn't hosting anything at the strip club, right?
Apparently not. No.
Okay, but you just assume he was because it's a strip club.
No. It was obviously something that may have happened in the media or on social media that would have made me think that he was or going to be there for some reason, because that's not a random question I would ask him.
Except you had friends in common. You might think that he might be going to this because you have friends in common who were going, right?
No.
Okay. So you just assume he was going to Oceans, even though he says, no, we all at the studio, you all can pull up if you want, right?
Correct.
And you said, cool, thanks, I'll text you. And then the next page, or actually you said, hey. And then he responded, hey, you. And you said again, this is January 3rd of 2019. That was around the time, actually, I think it's the exact date that the docuseries premiered. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Although I guess the fallout from it wasn't entirely aware until a little bit later, correct?
I don't know what you mean by that. Can you rephrase the question?
Did you watch it on January 2019?
No.
All right. So you said, what's up with you? You feel like stopping by Pressure Point? Pressure Point's a studio?
Correct.
And then you said, or can me, Jay Blaze, and her girl April stop by your studio? Hey, so you've asked him multiple times to hang out, right? Or to come by the studio.
Yes.
And then he says, sorry, I just found this damn phone in the couch in the studio. LOL. But it's all good. Let me know the next time y'all going out. And depending on this stupid shit, LOL, I'll come with. Right?
Correct.
And if you go to the next page and you said, who you telling? Pressure Point, though, is a studio. I wasn't asking you to go out, LOL, but that would be nice also. And he said, what be going on there? And you responded, I work in the evening. It's Jay's husband's spot now. They had April, the mother of, I won't say the names, someone's child, and she's writing. Just thought it would be a nice vibe for you to pull up. Come today. It's really private. You wanted him to come to hang out, right?
Yes.
That was just in January of 2019, right?
Yes.
And then you hit him up again on January 3rd. What you doing tonight? Do you see the top one?
Yes.
And he says, studio session, but I will be there drinking and chilling. And you said, okay, I'm going to come through. Come through means I'm going to stop by, right?
Correct.
And he said, hit me around 8:30 or 9. And then you text him later and said, are you there? You said, need you to respond right away, right?
Correct.
Hey, are you there? We're pulling up now. And then he didn't respond, right?
Correct.
And then later on, he said, what happened? And you said, I came. You never responded, and I kept calling your phone while I was outside. Do you remember that night?
Not exactly, but that sounds about right.
And then he said, oh my God, are you serious? Why not do what everybody else does? Just come in. LOL. It's a party. I can't hear my phone. People grabbing on me trying to take pictures.
Your Honor, we're going to object to these. Counsel, show the witness the first few pages. The witness has not looked at any of these pages and identified that these are her conversations that she actually recalls. So she has to do the first in order to lay the foundation for these to be admitted and published.
I will ask her, Judge.
All right.
You recognize,
Your Honor, it's still published to the jury.
Well, if it's published to the jury, it's there, but you can't ask her if these are hers. I guess.
you recognize those as your text messages with Robert, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to scroll through the rest so she can recognize to the very end and then
I can't do it with the redactions.
okay, you don't have any reason to believe that these aren't your text messages with him, right?
No.
Okay, let's keep going. And you said, yeah, I definitely wasn't trying to walk up to the door and have problems with everything going on. I get that. But wait, you're taking pictures now? And then you said, just let me know when you're free. And then he says, no, I say they were trying to take pictures, but depending on who it is, I do take a picture here and there. Why you say that? And you responded, I'm just laughing because I know you don't usually do that. So it was cool. And he responded, well, there's something even funnier. I didn't take one picture with nobody last night. There were a lot of full moon woofers in there. And you said, please call me and explain what a full moon woofer is. LOL. Okay. That was on January the 5th of 2019. Do you see that?
This isn't really legible up here, so if you want to zoom in again,
Sure.
um, that would be helpful.
Can you zoom into the first half of that, Ash? Okay. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you see this message, which is, thank you guys for everything. I'm tired now. That was January the 6th of 2019, right?
Yes.
And that was after the Surviving R. Kelly series came out, and he was pretty upset, right?
Yes.
And then you responded with, wait, what? Are you okay? I'm super worried about you, right?
Yes.
And you were worried about him, right?
Yes.
Are you able to go to the next page? Keep going. And then you hit him with a lot of messages here where you say, where are you? Don't do this. Respond to me. And you said, I long you don't let the devil win. But then you corrected yourself, which was, I love you. Don't let the devil win. Right?
Correct.
And then you were like, Rob, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And then the last page of this particular exchange or series of exchanges is, and you said, trust me, I know firsthand how you feel. You have my prayers. You need to come to the studio. It's super safe and private. I have something you should come remix. And he responded, sorry. Okay, major breakdown, but now I'm on a major buildup. And you said, yeah, I had one too. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And that kind of relates to this series coming out, which upset you too, right?
Correct.
You got people started hitting you up, harassing you, right?
Yes.
Lisa Van Allen was messaging you, correct?
Correct.
You didn't want to be talking to her, did you?
I didn't have a reason to.
Now, give me 1 second. And because of all the attention you started getting from surviving R. Kelly, you actually changed your phone number, didn't you?
Yes.
And in your conversations with Robert, he wasn't trying to influence you to do anything. You guys were just commiserating that this was coming back up, right?
Right.
Okay. Now I would like you to look at this is just 3 more pages of an exchange between, well, you take a look at it and put just for her.
They have to do it.
Just for, okay. All right. Now, Regard the first three blue bubbles, okay? And look at where it says 278. Do you see that? Do you recognize your new phone number there? The phone number you changed it to?
Honestly, I don't.
Highlight the number.
I'm sorry. No, I can see it, but I don't remember that as being my number. That's not one that stands out.
Okay. I'm not saying it was. Oh, okay.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I just don't recognize it.
Okay. And do you see the message there that says this is, and you don't say it out loud, the name, but it says, this is Jane, my new number, right?
Yes.
Do you remember sending that message to Mr. Kelly on January the 7th of 2019?
Yes.
All right, go to the next page. If you could pull out Ashley so she can see those a little more. Okay, do you see your messages to him?
Yes.
Do you recognize these messages?
Yes.
Do these messages appear to fairly and accurately reflect your text exchanges with Mr. Kelly during this period of time?
Yes.
Okay, go to the last page. So we have all of them. And if you could just pull it out so she can see it. And for this page, does your answer stand that you remember these text messages?
Yes.
Okay, that's not your number anymore. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, let's go to the first page. Ashley, make sure you redact any reference to her real name there. Okay, Judge, this is just a 3-page document. I would move to admit it as Defendant Kelly 101.
Any objection? It's admitted.
No objection, Your Honor.
You may publish. Defendant Kelly exhibit received in evidence.
Okay, you hit him up on January the 7th, 2019. You said, this is Jane, my new number, right?
Correct.
Go to the next page. And then you sent a number of messages to him. The first one is, what you doing now, right?
Yes.
Happy Glow Day, correct?
Correct.
Glow Day is birthday, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was his birthday.
You asked him, I'm sorry. Yes.
You asked him, what are you doing tonight? This was on January the 11th, right?
I'm on January 9th.
Right. But then you said, what are you doing tonight on January the 11th, correct?
I don't see that on my screen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on January the 11th, you said, trying to reach, we need to talk. Very important, correct?
Yes.
And he's not responding. Is that fair?
Yes.
And then you said, how is it that I'm texting you at such a critical time and you're not getting back to me, right?
Yes.
And this is related to the Surviving R. Kelly series, isn't it?
Yes.
And then you said, it's Jane, call me on January the 18th, right?
Yes.
And then keep going. And he said, damn, I did not recognize this number. And you said, been calling and texting you. And he said, I'm just waking up. I'm not used to this new number, but I'm going to lock it in. And then on February the 14th of 2019, you said, I need to speak with you ASAP, right?
Correct.
And then you also said, you need to call me right away or I'm making decisions on my own, right?
Right.
And he didn't
Yes.
call you, did he?
I believe we did have a phone conversation after that, if I can remember correctly.
Okay. You didn't tell the U.S. attorneys that when you met with them, did you?
I'm not sure if they asked me that or not.
You told the U.S. attorneys that you hadn't had communications with him at that point, right?
Right.
Actually, and that would have you actually made false statements to the U.S. attorneys when you said that you were on a friendly, not so friendly basis, but you hadn't been in contact with him, right?
I told them we were in contact.
Let's see. I want to draw your attention to, do you remember speaking with the U.S. attorneys on April the 11th, 2019?
I'm not sure of the date, but I know that I speak with them. Yes, I
And
did.
do you remember telling the U.S. attorneys on that date that your relationship with Kelly was friendly but not friendly? That you contacted Kelly because it was his birthday and contacted him after the documentary aired. And you described him as not sounding well and seemed stressed, that you contacted Kelly again after information circulated on the news but was not successful. You told them you weren't successful in contacting him.
So again, the timeline of everything that you're asking, I might not be completely accurate about in that sense, but we did communicate about the documentary. So that's why I answered it that way.
Okay. But you just said that you believe that you had conversations after you told him, I'm going to do what I'm going to do if you don't get in contact with me, right?
I just meant in reference to the documentary. I can't say that it was that particular conversation after text messages.
All right. And on February the 14th, when you were hitting him up to try to get in contact with him, that's because the Cook County State's Attorney's Office was trying to reach you, right?
Yes,
And you didn't want to talk to the Cook County State's Attorney Office, correct?
correct.
And that's because you heard that Michael Avenatti, do you know who Michael Avenatti is?
I don't.
Okay. You had heard that there was a tape that had been given to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, right?
Yes,
And the first person you called was Robert, right?
yes, because we were a team. Correct.
In 2019, you were a teen?
Well, I'm saying in reference to handling this situation, whether were on good terms or bad terms, I felt comfortable enough to reach out to him because I was afraid. I didn't know how to handle myself with that situation. So yes, I did.
But he didn't contact you, right?
No,
You knew that Kim Fox had set up a hotline for anyone who had information about R. Kelly, right?
no, I did not know that.
But on February the 14th, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office came and you refused to speak to them, right?
Yes,
And just like in 2002, you didn't want to have anything to do with this, right?
correct.
And you were getting lots of attention, right?
Yes,
And you were also getting offers and opportunities to, essentially appear in documentaries and other types of media broadcasts. Would you agree?
yes,
And you went to Robert and you told him that if he paid you, you wouldn't cooperate with them, right?
that is not correct.
You told him you were going to make the decision by yourself if he didn't get back to you about whether he was going to pay you.
The decision that I was going to make would have been to cooperate with the authorities because I no longer wanted to carry his lies.
Right. But you had opportunity after opportunity to not carry his lies. And when there's an investigation going on, the first person you call is Robert, right?
That's what I was used to. You're right. Yes.
Right. I mean, and you didn't talk to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office when they came knocking on your door, right?
No,
You called Robert because you wanted to work out a situation where he would pay you not to cooperate.
That is not correct.
And then he was arrested by law enforcement on February the 22nd, 2019. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Okay, you weren't talking to him at that point, right?
correct.
And he made bail, right?
Yes,
And he didn't try to talk to you either, correct?
no,
He made no efforts to speak to you. Can we, right?
right.
You decided to cooperate at that point because, not because you wanted to get something off your chest all of a sudden, but because there were benefits involved in it, correct?
No,
I mean, you have a deal right now after this trial where you're going to go tell your story. Your brother was posting about it, right?
no, that's not correct.
Okay. You don't have any deals right now that are is going to materialize after you testify here in court? Any that would enrich you?
No, apprenticeship.
Your Honor, can you? Oh, objection, Your Honor. There's no foundation for any of these questions.
Okay. Well, actually, we'll come back to it.
Your Honor, can you?
Well, if there is foundation and if there is foundation as an officer of the court, you tell me there's a good faith basis, you may do it. Otherwise, I'll sustain the objection.
There is, Judge. If you give me 1 second. Okay. Did your brother post a post on Instagram about how you were so brave and that you were going to be a spokesperson for Project Refine with a collaboration with Grey Goose Vodka?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Any other deals like that?
So that's not a deal. That is my non-for-profit organization that I just started. It's a mentoring program. That's not for my profit. That's my passion for what I'm doing in my personal life. It has nothing to do with a deal. Grey Goose didn't give me any deals, or I don't have anything to look forward with them after what took place the other day.
Okay, but there is a collaboration with Grey Goose Vodka, right?
There was, yes.
Any other types of, I won't use the word deal, any other types of opportunities you have after your testimony here today?
No,
Now, even though Robert had no communications with you after you hit him up and said you were going to make your own choice or something of that nature, you went and spoke with U.S. attorneys with a person by the name of Fred Crawford, right?
yes,
And you call him your god brother, right?
Wait. Could you
yes.
start that over?
Huh?
You need to start at 21 because it's like you cut off.
Okay.
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear her at all. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No problem. What's a god brother to you?
It's just the terminology that I use for how close he and I are, how he's helped me out, he gave me work. Like, he's just a really close friend to my family. So I consider him not my real brother, but my god brother.
Okay. Is he older than you?
About a year, yeah.
Okay. And on April the 11th of 2019, you were interviewed by the Assistant United States Attorney by the name of Angel Cruel.
Correct.
And you became pretty close with her, correct?
I wouldn't say close.
You text back and forth with her from time to time, right?
Yes,
All right. And during that first interview, you refused to answer any questions about your interactions with Mr. Kelly, right?
yes,
You even told the assistant state's attorneys during that interview that you didn't know whether you weren't sure whether Kelly had relations with young girls, right?
I don't remember the conversation you're speaking of, actually.
If you had said that, according to you, that would be a lie, right?
Correct.
And you told that lie to the U.S. attorneys on April the 11th, 2019, not because Robert told you to tell that lie, because you decided to tell that lie, right?
Objection, Your Honor. That misstates her testimony. She said she doesn't recall what she said on that day.
All right, clarify.
Well, I can prove it up.
Clarify her answer. Then,
Sure. Shall I? Let me refresh your recollection first. Perhaps that will help.
okay.
The April 11th, do you have it? And just show it to her, though. Okay. Do you see what appears to be a Department of Homeland Security report in front of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'll pull it out the portion and about the 5th paragraph down. First, pull out that for her. Okay. Can you see it a little closer now?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, you said you weren't comfortable answering any questions.
Can you repeat that?
Do you remember telling the U.S. attorneys that you were not comfortable answering any questions about your interactions with Mr. Kelly, your sexual interactions with Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
And then on the next page, about halfway down, where it says, I'm not going to use your initials, I'm just going to say Jane. And go ahead. Do you see where it's highlighted there, that first sentence?
Yes.
Okay. Does that refresh your recollection about whether you told the U.S. attorneys you're not sure whether Kelly had relations with other young girls?
Yes.
Okay. And today you're saying you do know that he had relations with other young girls, right?
Yes.
So when you told the U.S. attorneys that on April the 11th, 2019, that was not true. That was a false statement, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So even on April the 11th of 2019, you were making false statements to the U.S. attorney's office, right?
Hold on, guys. Let's get the likes up, guys. Let's get the likes up. We got 347 people in the chat, and I see there's only 149 likes. Come on now, people. Come on. You have these ladies reading very wonderfully, and they need a break anyway. 49. Guys, how many times did she was caught in a lie?
A lot.
I'm counting, y'all. I'm counting a whole bunch of lies.
Yes.
She's a liar.
A whole bunch of lies, and you expect us to believe that was you on the tape too now?
She want that money. She want that Section 8. She want to keep our Section 8. She want all that.
Yep.
Now this girl she don't even know the truth when the truth is in her face.
Yep. Because she know the U.S. attorneys will pull all of that away from her.
I wonder what happened to the Grey Goose deal.
She said after yesterday, I guess it was after her
I mean, she even lied about the 14 and the 15 years old sex thing. I mean, come on, what's the truth with
Oh, you did. She did say yesterday. So after her testimony, they dropped the deal.
auntie. Yeah, about her auntie or whatever.
Yep.
Yep, they dropped that deal. No way.
And then her aunt goes and says she lied on the thing too. So, y'all, she's a liar. Her credibility is shot. I'm telling you, if I was on that jury, it would have been a done deal for me. I've been done. If the jury's smart like some of us here, her credibility is shot.
Yeah, she's gone.
You got her lying back in 2008. I mean 2002. This
supposedly you know that's not her on that tape, but she trying to.
Supposedly she lied in 2002. right? And then now she lying here. Come on, which one is the truth? Sorry, y'all.
Exactly.
It ain't about me being on Mr. Kelly's side. I see a liar. Period. I see an opportunist. I see somebody who extortionist, and I see somebody who's a liar.
Right.
No, it's a credibility you have to attack.
Yeah.
That's what they say. It's her credibility you have to attack, Matt. Her credibility. That's what the instruction of the thing. Do you believe the witness on the stand? Not whether or not the tape is real, is
Right.
whether or not do you believe the witness on the stand?
Is there reasonable doubt?
I kind of agree with Matt. The tape does need to be attacked as well.
They already said that the tape is not acceptable.
They
They need to continue to
They have
attack the
to
tape.
have the tape because they don't have the original tape.
They don't have the original tape, so why do they gonna have to keep on saying it? They already know that's not the jury knows it's not the original tape.
And then
But I guess to drive it in, like
the other tape didn't have voice in it. And all of a sudden you have this enhanced tape.
I
Right.
mean, but who? I mean, as a person, as a juror, okay, it's not the original, but it's a copy of the original. So
No, it didn't. The original didn't have sound. Now all of a sudden it has.
and that
sound.
hasn't been driven in yet.
Yes,
So what I'm saying is they need to keep on driving it in. This is fake. This is fake.
yeah, some things you have to repeat, especially if you're trying to make a point in court. That
yeah, but you gotta remember, Derek Gaga is gonna get on that stand tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
I knew he was coming. I didn't know what day.
If there was a tape with no sound, then how the sound get on there? Then he needs
Exactly.
to explain that. He needs to explain that, and I hope Bonjean bring that out.
And then you gotta remember they said Sparkle makes copies of the tape. Come on,
Yep.
copies.
So then why was the original that went around the world never with sound? Who got rid of the sound in the first place? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, if they were trying to prove that this was a minor back then, why
Right.
would they have gotten rid of that audio? That would have helped
Exactly.
it.
Because remember, cases like this, after a certain amount of years, they have to destroy it because it's child pornography. It should not be going on and on and on and on and on. That's protocol.
But didn't they get this in 2008 or something?
Yeah, but remember,
2002.
2008, that's over 20 years. They're not supposed to keep that kind of stuff. That's child pornography. That should be destroyed.
I'm saying if the original had audio, which we know it didn't, then it makes no sense that the people would have given the authorities the tape that had no audio, which lets us further know that this audio was placed on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's fake.
But listen to this. Here's the deal, right? Remember, the thing is, they said they couldn't authenticate the tape because the witness is going to come here and say, so that's how they're going to authenticate it, right? But now you have a credibility of the witness that's supposed to be the one authenticating this tape, that her credibility is shot.
Right. And Bonjean, like they said, Bonjean ain't finished. This is the government's part. Bonjean has to come in with her party. She got some stuff for him, okay? She got some stuff.
But y'all, come on, her credibility is shot.
Yeah, her credibility is shot.
Yeah.
Y'all said it yourself. Do y'all believe her? You don't believe it. I mean, do you believe it?
Okay, we have
I
to
didn't believe her before she started.
202.
All right, how many likes we got? How many we got, guys? So we
Look like 202.
We want to finish reading, guys.
They said don't read anymore until we get up to like 300.
we got 360 in the chat. Come on now, y'all hearing people reading that is doing an excellent job.
Please show your appreciation.
Please, guys. We're not charging you for.
I've been in church and then I came up in here and started reading. Come on, y'all.
Y'all been waiting for me to come on because I asked me to come on. So come on, like you do us a favor and hit that like button. We like the way we do it.
Say please and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You say please.
Well, y'all get the likes up.
You hit the please and like. It's 3 other tapes. No, it's only 2 other tapes. The 4th one they don't have.
5 whole tapes. They are.
It's only 3 tapes.
And from what I continue to hear, it's 1 tape broken down into 3.
Yeah, and they kept putting
it's
the same
one tape that was cut down into 3 to make to extort him. They kept bringing the tapes back, getting more money. Different parts
Which
of
basically means, like with a camcorder, you know how the tape keeps on going.
they'll stop it and
Thank,
put
thank
another
you,
tape.
Daniela. Thank you, Lori. Okay, y'all. How many likes do we have, y'all? Come on, y'all. Let's do this because I want to carry up. Because you know what? I'm telling you, when the time comes for me to go to bed, I'm gonna go to bed whether we finish or not.
I want to say this: if the jury was listening, like we were listening, I know they was looking at the thing, but if they were listening, it was like every time Jane spoke, it was a crazy echo. It was like a half pitch, and sometimes it's half pitch, wasn't it, y'all?
Yeah.
It was strange. Something was going on with that tape.
We got 229 likes. Come on now, y'all. They got just 229.
Exactly, Lady Earth B. How do they obstruct if it's not the original tape? Thank you. And Mr. Kelly did not take the tape and spread the tape around. That was the other
Everyone else. Essentially, that's the world.
Goddess, the men who was extorting them, they was going from state to state, making different copies of the tape. Mr. Kelly didn't do none of that.
They the one that was making money off of that tape, not him.
He never made a dime off of that.
234.
Well, we don't know if Bunjin gonna ask about the group. We don't know. Well, they're not probably gonna ask about the group. We don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Thank you, progress. Guys, come on now. Seriously, y'all, I'm gonna go to bed in a few. If I don't get those like buttons up, I'm gonna go to bed because I gotta get up in the morning. So you guys holding up time here. You know, I gotta get.
So I don't want to know how did Rashonda know Mr. Kelly's number after he had the same number. Obviously. And you know, her father was still working for him and all of that. And they were still in contact with him.
Sounds to me he was always a really nice guy.
He was always a really nice guy. He always talked to them. You know, she felt comfortable enough to tell her that her mom's mother died.
Right.
Come on, guys, please go out, hit the like button, hit the dislike, hit whatever you want to hit, but I just need to hurry up and get off this live.
Don't be hitting the dislike.
Don't
be hitting the dislike. That's what we're not.
That's what they want to do. I mean,
that number doesn't tabulate.
That number doesn't tabulate. Okay.
Forget them. Don't do that. Get out of here if you dislike.
If he was her abuser, why she felt comfortable enough to call him and tell him about anything that's going on in her family?
And then the ops would say, that's what grooming is. Okay, well, let me tell you something about grown women and their relationships. Because we do things to appease our man as grown women. And we try to do things that they like as grown women. And that's not grooming. That's called being appeasing. That's called being in a relationship. That's called being an adult.
That's called being human.
Yeah.
When you
and hold on, let me say this also. My man does things to appease me, and he is not groomed.
Hello.
He's not groomed. That means he's receptive. That means that he wants to be in a relationship. Okay. That's not groomed.
When you want to please somebody, you do what you think they like.
That's love.
That's love. That's what love got to do with it.
And I call him daddy too, just to put that out.
Hey.
Hey. Call him daddy.
Hey.
Sure do.
Okay, we got 241 in here, and it's 355 people. Well, it's gone down. They went down to 331 now.
Mine say 245.
Mine does too. 245. And then somebody just tried to take their like away. Oh, what, y'all didn't like that I called him daddy?
They did. They took the like away. It's okay.
It went back. Hater.
You know what saddened me? That people want us to get on this thing, take hours of reading for them, but they can't even show appreciation. That's what you call selfish.
That's because it's the ops looking in to see how we're taking it, how we're reading it, and that's fine. You want to see the different perspectives, right? Whatever.
Tell them come in.
Thanks, Lady Earth.
So y'all just
My 4 girls said that's BS. People only can take you where I just missed it. It jumped up.
That's why you got.
Come on, it doesn't sound like she was afraid. Them text messages showed a lot. She was demanding, "Why aren't you picking up my phone at this critical time?" Excuse me! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! She was screaming. Mm-hmm. That's not a person who's afraid.
But y'all be using those mechanical pencils up too.
$248.
Come in, Master.
Let's go ahead and just get 250 because these people, man, they use
I see 250 on my screen.
Uh-oh. Did my thing?
I don't see 250.
Yeah, Kimberly just said 250.
Until I see 250, I ain't moving. Hold on.
My thing closed. Hold on. What page are we on?
Kimberly put 251.
We're on page 912.
912, 9, line 9. It's your turn.
Okay.
All right, so we got the 250. These people, man, that's how
you got 251.
Gone it. Oh, that mercy.
I apologize. Let me get back to my space.
Oh my God, it's like pulling teeth. You guys are hard folks, man. Hard folks. Thank you, Rachel.
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd. They rather jump off, and then look. Once we start reading again, they'll jump back on. All right, but thank you for those who have hit the like. God bless you. God richly increases everything that you do for the nice kindness that you guys have done for us. Yeah.
Is my pencil case in there?
Okay, 912, line
9.
Here's the thing, Mangu. They said the reason why she lied is because he threatened her. So if they could prove that there was no threat, that means that she lied because she lied.
She lied. Okay, I'll repeat the question again. Okay. So even on April the 11th of 2019, you were making false statements to the U.S. Attorney's Office, right?
I didn't want to get other people involved, so yes, I did do that. The girls that I did know, I did say that.
Right. You told a false statement.
Miss Apente, could you please mute yourself? Miss Apente. Okay, let me mute her. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, right. You told a false statement to the U.S. Attorney's Office, which, in fact, is a federal crime, right?
Miss Apente. Objection, Your Honor. As to what the witness may know in terms of legal conclusions about official charges.
Overruled. She can give a general answer.
Go ahead, Judge. Go ahead, Judge.
And Mr. Kelly didn't tell you to tell that lie. You told that lie, right?
Yes.
You can take that down. Okay, you had your own reasons for not wanting to be truthful with the authorities, right?
At that time, yes. Not the other times.
In fact, that was your first interview you gave about anything related to Mr. Kelly since you spoke to, I guess, the police in 2000, right?
I don't remember exactly, but...
Okay. And during this interview, the U.S. attorneys made it clear to you that it kind of wasn't your choice, that if they subpoenaed you to testify before a federal grand jury, you were going to have to show up on a subpoena, right?
Correct.
All right. And then even in the next interview you had, oh, by the way, during that interview, you refused to look at any video, right?
Yes.
In fact, until August the 9th, like last week, you've never seen the video, right?
Wow.
Correct. I want to say this because there's this. I just want to say this because there's this whole rumor going around on social media that she never seen a video. She's seen a video, but not until August 9th.
We don't know
Okay.
what's on that video.
A week ago. A week
Oh,
ago.
what video she seen? And she
Okay.
wasn't in the court.
Wow.
And she wasn't in the court when this video was played. So we don't even know what the girl done seen.
Wow, y'all. Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
So you have no idea what was shown at the criminal trial in 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only through loose still images.
You looked at some still images, and that's when you denied that it was you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on April the 13th of 2019, you again met with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and you still didn't want to talk. You were uncooperative, right?
Can you repeat that for me?
On April the 13th of 2019, at a second interview, you still were unwilling to speak with the U.S. attorneys, correct?
Yes.
And speak with them about Mr. Kelly and yourself and all that. That's what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
And again, that had nothing to do with Mr. Kelly. That was all your decision making, right?
Yes.
And on that day, you again refused to look at any videos of yourself or discuss your relationship with Mr. Kelly, right?
Right.
And you weren't communicating with Robert at this time, right? And isn't it true that the U.S. Attorney's Office told you that you would be entitled to restitution if Mr. Kelly was convicted, right?
Bam, there it is.
There it is,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yes.
And restitution is money, right?
Yes.
And you are seeking restitution or will seek restitution if he is convicted, correct?
I'm still undecided with that. No, that
Wow.
is not correct.
Wow.
You haven't decided whether you're going to seek restitution,
No,
but
Wow.
you know you have the right to seek restitution, correct?
that is correct.
And the U.S. attorneys told you that you had the right to seek restitution even before you ended up giving and cooperating with them, right?
That is incorrect.
Objection, Your Honor. We need a sidebar on this.
Y'all, there's a big, long redaction of the sidebar. All right, go ahead, Judge.
Proceedings heard at sidebar. Let me go up. I'm going through all this redaction. Proceedings heard in open court. You may continue.
Okay. Now, on April 18th of 2019 is when you decided that you would cooperate with the investigation, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you testified yesterday that you were just so tired of keeping the secret and you needed to get it off your chest. But you took some time making that decision, didn't you?
Yes.
And you told the government that you would not cooperate unless they could give you an immunity deal, right?
Wow.
I did not tell them that. No.
You asked for an immunity. You asked for an immunity deal through counsel, right?
Correct.
If you asked for immunity for your parents too, right?
Yes.
Dang.
Now,
She should have asked her had she been threatened otherwise.
okay, we'll see. Oh, now, if your parents didn't know anything and they were innocent in all of this, why did you ask for immunity for them?
Because with them not being truthful the first time, as far as what took place in 2008, I just wanted to make sure that they were protected with telling the truth and moving forward.
And I want to go back. And they agreed to give you immunity and protect your parents as well, right?
Correct.
And I know your father has since passed, and I'm sorry for that. But at the time that you were speaking with the government in April of 2019, he was living, right?
Yes.
You were introduced to Robert by your aunt, Stephanie Edwards, who goes by the name Sparkle, right?
Correct.
And you said that even though she was like 10 years older than you thought of her as a friend, right?
Yes.
And actually, your relationship with her was pretty inappropriate, wasn't it?
Yes.
You were a young girl, and she told you about her relationship with Robert, right?
Yes.
And she even shared with you her sexual relationship with Robert, right?
Yes.
And she brought you to Robert's studio, correct?
Yes.
And Robert's studio was a pretty bustling place, active place, lots of artists coming in and out, right?
Yes.
Musicians, right?
Yes.
Managers, runners. It was a pretty vibrant place for someone who was interested in music, correct?
Yes.
And you enjoyed going there because you came from a musical family and you yourself was a musician, right?
Yes.
And you enjoyed seeing your aunt perform, or I guess perform is the wrong word, but let me be the studio making music.
Yes.
Correct. And you just testified that it was Sparkle who instructed you to develop this connection to Robert, right?
Yes.
And you testified, I think, yesterday that she told you to sit on his lap, rub his head, and ask him to be your godfather, correct?
Correct.
And is godfather like code for something? Because I'm confused. Like, what does it mean to ask someone to be your godfather?
Well, it again, if you look up to somebody that's within our race, if you look up to somebody and you say that term like more casually, that's just the way I feel like she introduced me to be more like closer to him.
I see. And to be clear, it wasn't Robert that asked you to be his goddaughter. It was you that asked him to be his godfather because Sparkle had said you should do this, right?
Yes.
And in looking back, you said that you think Sparkle was pushing Kelly on you. Isn't that right?
Yes.
In fact, you believe that Sparkle used to use you as bait with Kelly. That's something you opined about, right?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. It's called for
Wait a
hearsay.
minute, we never finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. Opinion about. Okay, yes, I'm saying. Sorry, y'all.
No problem. And of course, you know Sparkle has said that you are not being truthful about this, right?
Objection, Your Honor. It's called for hearsay about what Sparkle said.
I'm not. It's not offered for the truth.
Yes, not for the truth. Overruled.
About time.
Did you see did you see Sparkle's tweet last night?
No.
Okay. She said that you were lying because the government's forcing you to testify. Is
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance to what's happening right now. This is about the trial and about the evidence that has already been introduced and will be
it goes to interest and bias.
on social media last night.
Wait. Hold on.
The judge woke up.
And she made the statement to the public. If she had made it to an investigator, it would be a non-issue. She made the statement.
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, we are talking. Oh, go ahead. Is it my time?
Yeah.
Oh, Your Honor, we are talking about an out of court statement that's being offered. Number one, the witness has said she is not familiar with that statement.
Okay. This would be for the truth. So the objection is granted. The motion.
That's fine, Judge. I'll move on.
But you know what
And
I
then,
like about it? She got it in anyway.
uh-huh. And then after you testified yesterday that after this godfather relationship came to be, that things started turning romantic, sexual between you and Mr. Kelly, right?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. That after he agreed to be your godfather, that was the turning point from the relationship. It became inappropriate at that point, right?
Yes,
And you've testified that your parents were okay with this because, he was your godfather, right?
correct.
But he wasn't your
Excuse me.
godfather. Your parents knew that, right?
Well, they accepted him as my godfather when he agreed to be that.
Okay. Just because you asked and he accepted, that in and of itself had such meaning that your parents were okay with you spending hours at the studio and all the things that you testified about?
I can't answer that for them.
Okay, that's fine. I think we'll wait. We'll keep that for another witness.
That's why her mom should have to come in. No proffer.
She's probably coming in.
Oh, she is coming in.
Yeah.
Coming in.
Well, I thought she proffered. I thought she was the Santiago proffer person.
No, she's
She's
coming
coming in. She got immunity.
She's coming in.
Yeah.
She got immunity. Yep.
Okay.
Keep
She
Morel.
she is the one that has the proffer deal.
She does have a proffer.
She's coming
They
in.
said it earlier in the transcripts.
She's coming in.
What's a proffer deal?
It means that she wrote a statement
She's
Oh.
coming
and they were
in.
going to read it.
She's coming in.
Okay.
Because she can come in from the defense side. You get what I'm saying? Just because you have a proffer from the government doesn't mean that stands for the defense.
They can
Okay.
still subpoena her. Okay, now, you have previously stated that Sparkle knew about your relationship, right?
She knew what was encouraged. Wait, I'm sorry. She knew what she encouraged me to do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she was angry with Kelly about some fallout over a record deal, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And you have testified that your parents didn't know about this relationship with Kelly until this interaction at the hotel where there were all these tears and everyone was upset and Mr. Kelly begged for forgiveness and he had all this remorse. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. But your parents were actually the subject of a DCFS investigation in April of 2000, right?
Yes.
And have you determined whether or not it was Sparkle who initiated that DCFS investigation?
I'm not sure who it was.
Okay. So when you say they didn't know, you're saying they didn't believe, right?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, as to what, if she knows what was in her parents' mind at that time.
She testified yesterday at length, multiple times, that her parents didn't know. She kept it a secret. They had no idea.
Overruled.
I like this judge.
Okay. So they did know about allegations. They just didn't believe them. Is that correct?
They asked me if it was true, and I said no.
And they believed you, right?
Correct.
And then shortly after this DCFS investigation, there was also a police investigation, and you and your parents were interviewed by a detective, Detective Everett. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Okay, and that interview happened in Oak Park.
Yes.
And you denied any relationship with Mr. Kelly, right?
Uh-huh.
And you testified that you didn't want Robert to get into trouble, right?
Correct.
You were protecting him, correct?
Yes.
You wanted to preserve the relationship too, right?
Yes.
As inappropriate as it was, you wanted to hold on to that relationship, right?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
And then at that point, the relationship strike that. At that point, the investigation was closed as unfounded And that was that, right?
Yes.
And despite all of that, you continued to spend significant amounts of time with Mr. Kelly, right?
Yes.
I think you said he got you a black PT Cruiser for your birthday and your parents was happy for you.
Yes.
Did your parents allow you to travel with Robert unsupervised when you were under 17?
No. They would think that I was with him and his wife.
So they did allow you to, but so they did allow you to.
That's not unsupervised. So I don't know what you mean by that exactly.
Wow.
Oh, I see. So I meant unsupervised by them, but you're saying that supervised by who? Kelly's wife?
Yes.
You testified that you had sex with Robert hundreds of times between the ages of, I think, 14 or 17 and 18. Is that right?
Yes.
That means you were spending a great deal of time with him, right?
Yes.
And again, you're still adamant that your parents at that point was blissfully unaware of this relationship, right?
Yes. They thought I was around the family. They didn't know I was spending time with him separately. Correct.
Now, Jane, you testified that you had a number of threesomes with your friend Pinky and your friend Brittany when you were under 17 years of age, right?
Yes.
And you've testified that Robert was absolutely adamant that your relationship be secret, right?
Yes.
But according to you, he entrusted this secret with a bunch of other high schoolers, right?
I wouldn't say those two people, not a bunch of other high school. I would say those two people, not a bunch of other schoolers.
Two other high schoolers. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. But so he didn't trust his closest confidants, but you and a couple of high schoolers, he was willing to, engage in this conduct and entrust the secret with these three high schoolers, right?
Yes.
And you did have threesomes with Pinky and Brittany, but it wasn't until after you were over 17 years of age, right?
No, it was before.
And was that before? And when you had threesomes with Robert and his wife, was that over 17 years of age too?
Yes.
Now, you turned 17 on September, remind me?
I don't remember when I turned 17.
What?
Well, okay. It was 2001. Does that sound right?
It sounds about right.
It was before you testified before the grand jury, right?
Yes.
And then in 2002, you learned that someone had provided a copy of the tape that you are calling, or we were calling tape one yesterday, right? To a reporter, right?
Yes.
And that person is Sparkle, right?
Can you repeat the question?
That person that provided the tape was Sparkle.
That's what I understand. Yes.
And isn't it true that Sparkle made copies of this tape?
That's what I understand. Yes.
Do you know whether Sparkle's ever been indicted for her conduct?
No.
All right.
Is this a good time to take a recess?
Sure.
Okay, we'll take a 15-minute recess. Recess from 11:30 a.m. to 11:51 a.m. Please be seated.
Keep on going. Judge.
Judge.
Oh, sorry. Ms. Bonjean, you can conclude your cross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Jane, I want to go back to, just for reference, after this video goes into the public, that must have been super upsetting to you, right?
Yes.
You said it's embarrassing, right?
Correct.
And it was after that happened that you and Robert and your parents had this emotional meeting in Oak Park, right? At a hotel. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you said that Robert broke down, your father, was upset, and that your father told Robert, "Man, I can't help you," right?
Yes.
And Robert was apologetic, correct?
Yes.
He didn't threaten your parents, right?
No.
He was deeply remorseful during this meeting, right?
Yes.
And you were upset because you didn't want the relationship to end either, right?
Right.
And again, at this point, you're 17 years old. And at that point, you didn't need to hide your relationship anymore, correct?
That was not my understanding at the time. I didn't know that.
Okay. But you certainly didn't want the relationship to end, right? And you didn't want your parents to get in any type of trouble for anything, right?
Right.
You didn't want to get into trouble for anything, right?
Correct.
You didn't want Robert to be in trouble for anything, right?
Right.
And Robert, well, it was who came up with the idea, as far as you know, that maybe when this video was getting released into the public and was that, I'm sorry, that perhaps it was a good time to get out of town for a few weeks.
Robert.
Okay. And did he say, and I think you testified yesterday that he said, go and, think on it, because your dad was like, "I can't help you, man," right?
Right.
And you and your parents then went to the Bahamas and Mexico, right?
Yes.
And this was supposed to be this time of reflection about, what course you were going to take, right?
Correct.
You said you were in contact with Robert, but Robert didn't go on this trip with you, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct, right? Okay. And it was during this period of time that you also got a tattoo with Robert's name or initial. Is that correct?
It was with his name. Yes.
And you were very hopeful for a future relationship with Robert at that point.
Yes, I did believe his promises. Yes.
Okay. And you did have a future relationship with him. You ended up being with him for another 10 years, right?
Yes.
And the trip was a couple of weeks. Is that about right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you came back. The problem didn't go away, right?
Right.
Your parents still had to be interviewed by the police. Isn't that right?
I can't remember.
And in fact, they were interviewed by the police after they came back from that trip, correct?
I can't remember how their setup was exactly. I'm not sure.
Well, let me see if you remember this. Do you remember going with your parents for an interview with Chicago police detectives?
Yes.
And do you remember not speaking to them? You had a lawyer and you did not make any statements to the Chicago Police Department at that time.
Apprentice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Objection, Your Honor, as to foundation, as to the time frame. If we could just specify when we're talking about.
Sure. I'm talking about March of 2002. Do you remember sitting down or going to the police station with your parents?
Yes.
Okay. And you did not speak to Detective Everett at that time, correct?
I don't remember not speaking.
Okay. Do you remember speaking?
I don't remember speaking or not speaking.
Got you. Do you remember your parents being interviewed?
I actually don't remember that interaction all the way.
Wow.
Okay. But you do remember that you had counsel and your parents had counsel before you went there, right?
Yes.
And you consulted with your counsel before this interview, fair?
Yes.
And then it wasn't for a little bit, but maybe like a month or so later that you all received subpoenas to testify before the grand jury, right?
Right.
And you had counsel for that also, correct?
Yes.
And you consulted with your counsel before you testified before the grand jury, correct?
Yes.
And you've testified today and yesterday that you testified untruthfully, right?
Yes.
Because you wanted to protect Robert, right?
Yes.
You were in love with him, right?
Correct.
And also, you didn't want this really terrible, embarrassing tape to be associated with you, right?
Correct.
And you wanted to protect your parents too, right?
Yes.
Because there had already been a DCFS investigation and a police inquiry before, right?
Right.
So you had a number of your own reasons why you didn't want to come out. Legitimate reasons, correct?
Correct.
And your parents too testified untruthfully, right? As far as you know.
Yes.
And they had their own reasons for not wanting it to come out too, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Again, her testifying about what her parents' reasons were cause for speculation.
Wake up, Judge.
Well, it's pretty. Her own reason, obviously, overrule. It stand.
You had conversations with your parents about this, right?
Yes.
And your mom did not want this to be out there, right?
Correct.
And your dad too, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, and it's not until fast forward to, I guess, now 2019 that you are actually now coming forward and telling the truth about this, right?
Yes.
That's under an immunity deal with the government, correct?
Correct.
And your immunity deal doesn't just cover up you for your past perjury, right? It covers you really for anything that might be related to Mr. Kelly or really anything related to your conduct as well, right?
Can you repeat that?
Hold on one second. Let me pull it up. First of all, you had your own counsel that negotiated on your behalf, right?
Yes.
And your immunity deal basically says that nothing you say, nothing you reveal during the course of your interviews with the government can be used against you in any way, right? As long as you come in here and tell the truth, right?
Yes.
And they are the arbiters of what the truth is. It's the truth as determined by the government, correct?
I'm telling my truth. I don't know how it's determined after that.
Well, I understand you're telling your truth, but it's the government that gets to decide whether your truth is the truth, right?
Objection, Your Honor. It's cause for speculation from the witness.
Well, it's what her understanding is, but I think she answered it. She doesn't know.
Well, I'm going to mark this as, where are we at? Defendant Kelly 103?
102.
Okay, 102. I'm going to ask that you look at the screen, Jane. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Okay. And if you've read the first paragraph to yourself, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. This is to help refresh your recollection.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me know when you're finished.
I'm just reading the first paragraph, correct?
Yeah, for now.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay. So it was your attorney who advised the government that you had information that may tend to incriminate you, right?
Yes.
All right. And the government agreed that none of that information that you relayed to them will, in connection with this case, so anything you tell them will be used against you in any criminal prosecution. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And they even promised that no leads or information directly or indirectly derived from this investigation could be used against you in a criminal prosecution, correct?
I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Well, you signed this document, correct?
I did.
You presumably understood it when you signed it, right?
Yes. If you can just rephrase how you're saying it so I can understand.
Sure. Why don't I look at the second paragraph? And if you peruse it, it probably was a bad question on my part. So let me go ahead and read, and then I'll ask it.
Okay.
So they've agreed that no leads or information directly or indirectly derived from the information you provide can be used against you in some type of criminal prosecution, right?
Yes.
And the government didn't specify just perjury. The agreement is broader than that. It's pretty much anything can't be used against you in a criminal prosecution, right?
Yes.
And that if you could read the last paragraph there to yourself where it starts as stated. Let me know when you're finished there.
Okay.
So the government says you have to tell truthful and complete testimony, but in the event that they determine that you violated this provision or they determine that you didn't give truthful testimony, then there would be consequences for that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's them making that determination, not you, right?
Correct.
Okay, you can take that down. You testified yesterday that your parents weren't able to work when the tape came out, but your identity wasn't associated with them. Why weren't they able to work?
Uh-oh.
Because Robert asked them not to work because he didn't want attention being drawn to them, which is why we took the vacation as well.
You took a vacation for 2 weeks. It wasn't prosecuted for 6 years later, right?
Come on, Gene.
Ah!
I'm
Okay.
sorry?
They ain't read for 6 years?
You took a vacation for 2 weeks
Uh-huh.
right after the case kind of blew up. And he did that so you could go collect your thoughts and give some consideration, right?
Yes.
Okay. But the case wasn't prosecuted for another 6 years, right?
Right.
And it's your testimony that Robert said don't work for 6 years.
No, my dad was still a musician during that time, so he was still working.
Right. So he was working, correct?
Yes.
In fact, he was working on some of Robert's albums, but he was also working on other things as well, right?
Yes.
And there's nothing about your parents working that would draw attention to this because nobody knew who your parents were in connection with this, right?
That's not true.
Okay, how would your parents working bring attention to this prosecution?
Because a lot of people knew that my father was a musician for Mr. Kelly, worked closely with him, and that he was my godfather. We were in a local city. There were rumors, names released, etc.
Okay, there were rumors swirling, and it's your position that Robert told your parents don't work because there's rumors out there.
Initially, when things first started happening, yes.
Okay, but your parents did work. Like you went on vacation and then they came back and you picked up your lives, correct?
Eventually, yes.
And that was all before the 2008 prosecution, correct?
Yes.
A couple of other things. I want to show you a picture before we. Do you recognize that person?
Yes.
Who do you recognize that to be?
Robert's wife.
Okay. Does that fairly and accurately depict Robert's wife at various, I guess, ages?
Yes.
You knew her for many, many years. You lived under her roof, right?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I would ask that it be admitted that it be published to the jury.
No objection.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. This was his ex-wife too, right?
Yes.
Okay. He's not married to her anymore.
Correct.
Uh-oh. You know why she's saying that, right?
In fact, he got divorced while he was with you, right?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
To be with you, correct?
Uh-oh.
That wasn't my understanding. It was
What?
because their marriage didn't work out.
All right. And you've testified that when you lived under her roof as an adult, that there was sexual interaction between you and her and Mr. Kelly, right?
Correct.
Bam, drop the mic.
You can take that down.
Wow.
And I want to show you a picture of, and do you recognize this woman?
Yes.
And who is this woman?
My Aunt Stephanie.
Also known as Sparkle?
Correct.
Does this fairly represent Sparkle at various ages?
Yes.
Okay, I'd ask that it be admitted and published.
No objection.
Okay, and this is?
No objection. It's admitted. You may publish.
Thank you.
Said exhibit received in evidence.
This is the Sparkle that you've said that she encouraged you to ask Robert to be your godfather and had you sit on his lap and rub his head and all of that, right?
I like how she keep on saying that. Yes.
Do you speak with Sparkle today?
No.
Okay, you can take that down. And finally, do you recognize this woman?
No.
Okay, this is Government Exhibit 106. Would you agree that it appears to be a woman with a scarf that is in a checkered pattern?
Yes.
And you don't have any idea who this woman is, right?
No.
Okay, you can take that down. No, take it down. She doesn't know who it is.
Wow.
You testify.
Jennifer got something up her sleeve.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
Okay, you testified yesterday that sometimes, and I think you said in connection with video 2, that Robert gave you crystal to drink. Is that right?
I can't remember the number. I'm sorry. I can't remember the number of the video, but that did happen, yes.
And you said you watched all of the videos. Is that right?
I did, yes.
Did you ever see any crystal in any of those videos?
Like the bottle or the glasses?
Yes, anything.
Yes, I was drinking out of glasses in one of the videos. Yes.
It was a tumbler of, it was like a big plastic cup, right?
It was a glass cup.
It wasn't like a champagne glass, right?
No.
Okay. And it's your testimony that it wasn't juice or water.
Correct.
It was just a big cup of crystal.
Correct.
And since you've been cooperating or, agreeing to be cooperative with the government, you've also asked the government for help, just even in the last couple of years, right?
Yes.
Assistance, they've given you money, correct?
When I'm on their behalf, yes.
Yes, they have provided you with money since you've been cooperating with their investigation, right?
No.
No?
I mean, if you can be a little bit more specific, I can answer better, but they don't just hand me money.
They've given you benefits, right?
Yes.
Okay. What have they given you since the beginning of this investigation?
As a benefit, they've helped me with housing, and they've just, if I have to travel to come for any reason, like just for food or travel expenses or parking or something.
Anything else?
Not that I can think of, no.
Hmm. And when you say they help you with housing, they helped you get Section 8 housing, didn't they?
Mm.
Yes,
And Section 8 housing is a pretty good benefit, isn't it?
it is.
And you can have that for a lifetime, right?
I'm not aware of that.
Stop. No.
You can pass that on to people in your family, even, right?
I didn't know that.
Section 8 housing isn't easy to get, is it?
No.
And they've paid your down payment for the Section 8 housing.
Yes. They helped me with living because I was not working at the time and I was not able to. I was afraid for my safety with cooperating with them. So that was a way of them making sure my son and I were secure.
Speaking of your son, you sent pregnancy photos of yourself to the former U.S. attorney, right?
Yes, I did.
That was AUSA cruel.
Are you referring to Angel?
Angel, yes.
That was familiar. Yes. Yes.
You were on that type of level of familiarity that you sent her your, like, was it a bare belly?
I'm not exactly sure what picture I sent her, but they have seen me in a pretty negative light. So I thought it was okay to share something positive with them.
And she said you were glowing. You looked lovely, right?
Yes.
And she called you by your nickname, Boss Baby, right?
Yes. She has referred to me as that before, but that's not what she calls me.
Give me 1 second. One last area, Your Honor. I'm going to have to look at, I guess we're at Defendants Exhibit 105. Just show it to the witness, please, first. I'm going to scroll through this and ask you to look at it and tell me if you recognize these text exchanges, okay?
I'm done.
Okay, go to the next page.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Almost finished.
Okay. 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 Okay.
I think that's the last page.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Do you recognize these text exchanges with the Assistant State's Attorney Angel Cruel?
Yes.
Okay. Do they fairly and accurately represent your messages with the former state's attorney? When I say former, I mean she's not on this team right here, right?
Correct.
And do they fairly and accurately depict those messages?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor. At this time, I like to admit them and publish them. I just have 3 questions I want to ask her about it.
All right. Any objections? They're admitted. You may publish. Defendant Kelly Exhibit 105 received in evidence.
Okay. Go to the first page. The Assistant State's Attorney has you in her phone as Boss Baby, right?
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry and I apologize. My screen just closed. Give me 1 second to get back there.
Okay.
I apologize, you guys.
hmm
Oh wait, why is it doing that? We were on 94, right? Or I'm sorry,
hmm
94 at the bottom, but I know.
17.
I do apologize, but if you guys need to get those likes up, it's a good time. Okay, 17. So the answer is yes.
Okay. Is that what she called you?
She referred me to that sometimes. Yes.
Okay. And I see that you were using emojis to, I guess, a heart emoji to communicate that you loved her message or something like that.
Yes.
And is this how you communicated pretty typically with the U.S. attorney?
Yes.
On one other page, she referred to you as BB, right?
Correct.
That's like boss baby.
Yes.
And then if you go to the last page, you asked her, did Amalia share the pictures? What pictures were you referring to?
My pregnancy photos.
Okay. And the assistant U.S. attorney says, just one, the green outfit. So beautiful. You're glowing. I'm very happy and excited for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And were these professionally taken pregnancy photos?
Yes.
Okay. And again, this was the nature of your relationship with the U.S. attorney when you were leading up to this trial, right? This reflects that, correct?
Yes.
You talked on the phone too?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have the conversations about restitution with her on the phone?
No, not that I can remember over the phone.
Who did you speak to about the restitution?
The restitution was, I actually can't remember how it started out. From what I think I remember is that we were in person when that was presented to us.
Okay. And she presented it to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I have one and I'm finished, Judge. Um, and when you say us, who are you talking about?
I'm sorry. Can you refresh my memory on when I said that?
You just said she was talking to us.
Well, that was other people who were in the room as at the time, as in at the time.
You're talking about your friends, right?
No, what friends? I'm confused.
Who is the us?
So there were multiple people in the room with Angel at the time that she and I had the conversation. So I'm referring to everyone who was in the room at the time.
And I'm asking who the us is.
Well, me and my parents.
Okay. So your parents also are due for restitution as well, right?
No, you're confusing me. I'm sorry. I'm thinking you're talking about the immunity letter, not the restitution.
Okay.
I got confused. I apologize.
It's all right.
Can you repeat that for me so I can
Sure.
answer clearly?
Yes. Who told you about the restitution that you were entitled to?
Angel.
Okay. And when did that conversation take place?
That was in person during one of our meetings. My lawyer was actually involved in that conversation as well.
Okay. Anyone else?
Not that I can remember. I'm not sure though.
And how much time was spent talking about restitution?
I didn't understand it, so it wasn't much time spent on it at all. I actually got clarity through my lawyer.
Got you. Okay. And finally, just for clarity's sake, you also were provided from the U.S. Attorney's Office flights to and from Florida, right? With your cousin, correct?
Yeah, she was there with me. Yes.
And you got expenditures for hanging out in Florida, right?
No, at the time I was afraid of my safety, so they let me decide where I would like to go and be away from everything that I was getting ready to take place. That's correct.
Well, when was this?
This was during the arrest, I believe.
Well, this was in June of 2019, right?
That sounds about right.
Mr. Kelly was arrested before June of 2019, right?
Wow.
I'm not sure.
Objection, Your Honor. In terms of what arrests we're talking about, 2 arrests have been talked about in this case. In 2020, in 2001, in this case.
Okay, after.
Clarify it.
I'm sorry.
Clarify it then.
After Mr. Kelly was arrested into the early part of 2019, he made bond, right?
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Yes.
He didn't make any contact with you, correct?
No.
That's correct, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And so because of Mr. Kelly being arrested, you were able to go to Florida on vacation with your cousin to get out of Dodge, right?
It wasn't just about that. With the attention, with everything happening, with the documentary, and people were approaching me and my family, and me changing numbers, and all of the attention that was brought, that was the reason why I left the state.
Okay. And then your father got some benefits too, right?
My parents were also going through the same thing that I was, so they did leave town as well.
And the government paid for that, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Dang.
And then we talked about ultimately you got assistance with your Section 8 housing, but that's locally, right?
Yes.
All right. I think that might be it, Your Honor. Give me 1 second.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Is
Afraid.
that it?
So the parents got housing too?
No, they
They
got
got a
vacation.
trip.
They got
Just a
vacation.
trip? Okay.
Redirect.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we asked if the defense counsel can pull up the last exhibit that they just had on the screen.
The text messages?
Yes, please.
The Boss Baby text messages?
Yes.
By Gene. The hero, I promise.
Jane, can you see that on the screen?
Yes.
And those text messages, what are you talking about?
I'm just going to reread it. 1 second.
Yep.
The whole thing or just one screenshot?
This screenshot.
We're talking about scheduling a time where I needed to come in to speak with the AO.
Can you go to the next page, please? Are you talking about scheduling generally here too?
Yes.
Can you go to the next one, please? You can go to the next page. And what are you talking about here? Scheduling again.
Yes.
Can you go to the next again? What are your messages about here?
Scheduling.
Can you go to the next message, please? Again, what are you talking about here? The trial date. Oh, I'm sorry.
The trial date.
Upcoming trial date. That the trial we are in right now, is that for this case?
Correct.
Can you go to the text message, please? Again, what are you talking about here? There.
Trial.
Can you go to the next one, please? Are you talking about schedule? What the next court date and updates in this case are?
Yes.
Can you go to the next message, please? Again, are you talking about scheduling and these text messages?
Yes.
Can you go to the next message? Again, are you talking about scheduling a time to meet?
Yes.
Can you go to the next message, please? Again, are you talking about scheduling at a time to meet?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
You're talking about scheduling a time to meet. Is that correct? Is that right?
Yes.
Can you go to the next one, please?
Yes.
Go to the next message. You can go to the next one. Go to the next message, please. So far, the message that we're looking at is talking about scheduling.
Yes.
And Angel getting on the line with Amelia or Melissa so that she can talk to you with you.
Correct.
Can we go to the next message, please? And the next one, it says a name there that says Amelia. Who is Amelia?
She works with Homeland Security.
And it says Chris. Who is Chris?
My attorney.
And the other message says Melissa. Who is that?
She works with Homeland Security as well.
And they're agents that were working on this case.
Correct.
Can you go to the next message, please? Okay. Go to the next one, please. And these are what pictures are you talking about here?
My pregnancy photos.
I believe that's the last message, correct? You can take that down. And just a few questions for you. You were asked on direct about having counsel to go into the grand jury. The state grand jury back in 2002. Do you remember those questions?
Yes.
Who provided that lawyer for you?
Robert.
You testified. You were asked questions in cross-examination about wires and checks that you received and money to help you pay your rent. Is that right?
Yes.
And who did you talk to about receiving those rental payments?
Robert.
And who agreed to make those payments to you for your rent?
Robert.
You were asked on cross-examined about your contact with Mr. Kelly around the time in 2019. Do you remember those questions?
Yes.
You said that you called Robert because you were afraid about the situation with the tapes that you heard about, the new tapes that Cook County had received.
Yes.
What were you afraid about?
This situation resurfacing and another tape being released of he and I sexually engaging.
And what struck that? You were asked on cross-examination that back when you were 14, 15, and 16 years old, you were denying your relationship to the world. Do you remember being asked those questions?
Yes.
And at that time, you were 14, 15, and 16 years old. Who instructed you to deny your relationship with Robert Kelly to the world?
Robert.
And again, you were asked questions about DCFS and CPD interviews, and that happened in 2000. Do you remember those questions?
Yes.
And that you were wanting to continue your relationship with Mr. Kelly at that time?
Yes.
Do you remember those questions?
Yes.
And how old were you in 2000 around that time?
About 16, 17, 16.
15.
15 or 16.
That's crazy. You were asked some questions.
How you not know your damn age?
She all over the place. Because they telling her all these numbers she don't know. You were asked some questions on cross-examination about what you were able to do after the 2008 trial. What Mr. Kelly allowed you to do after the 2008 trial. Do you remember those questions?
Yes.
What did Mr. Kelly allow you to do during the trial?
Nothing.
She had payments. I don't understand this.
Right.
Where did you stay? Where did you sleep and stay at that time during the trial?
I was in the garage in the Olympia Fields house that was turned into a gym. And I was in the office space in the house back and forth.
Oh, where was her parents? Were there other places that you stayed during the trial and when the trial was going on?
Hotels.
Where? Safe to where? Safe to say the suburbs of Chicago?
Yes.
And why were you staying in hotels during the trial?
Because I was not to be in the house with all of the possibilities of things that were happening legally.
You weren't supposed to be saying. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
This is wrapping up, Your Honor. Okay, now those text messages that you were showing on cross-examination that were between you and Mr. Keller, those text messages in 2018, is that correct?
Yes.
About how old were you in 2018?
I was about late 20s, early 30s. And
In your 30s?
Late 20s? What?
You want no late 20s, early 30s.
I'm 237 now. How you gonna be
34?
Lord have mercy.
What is wrong with her?
Why? She just say anything she want to say, and it's gonna go.
And they just letting her go.
Her?
That's because she got immunity. It don't
Yep.
matter.
Yep. She just making
Yeah.
up stuff
Late
on the fly.
20s? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to make that outburst because that's what we did. What she said at the court. Come on.
Mm-hmm. In your 30s?
Look,
Yes.
they have to help her in your 30s.
You have to help her, right?
Right.
Okay, what was Mr. Kelly's reaction to you as you saw in those text messages in 2018? Were you suggesting that you two get together?
I'm going to object
the case
to
was 2019. The text message 2019. What the hell are they talking about?
Right.
Her birthday was. Oh my God. Okay. Bye.
I'm going to object to. I mean, the text messages have been admitted. If she's asking her to characterize, I think that's improper.
My question was, what are your
He always overrules us.
He said he don't know.
He was asleep. I was asleep.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Overrule. Go ahead.
Everything is
Overrule. Go.
He said, I don't know. Go
ahead.
Just go on. Just go on.
Basically, I don't care. Move.
Just keep it
Go
moving.
ahead. Okay. My question was, what was Mr. Kelly's reaction to you in 2018 when you suggested getting together in those text messages? Did you respond?
Yes.
What?
Did he respond?
You already. I said.
Did he respond every single time?
No.
When you were 14, 15, and 16 years old, did Mr. Kelly make efforts to see you?
Yes.
And how frequently did he make those efforts to see you at that time when you were 14, 15, 16 years old? Weekly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Weekly,
hold
daily.
on. You came to see him at his house. Your parents dropped you off. He made an effort to see you?
Right. Oh my God. Oh my God. He didn't go to their house.
Your parents dropped you off. Your auntie took you over there, but
he made effort.
Also, she said weekly, and they said, I'm sorry. And she said weekly, daily.
Hey, you see you daily?
Wow. See, they already telling her what she should have been saying, and she getting confused.
Mm-hmm.
She was stalking Mr. Kelly. She just wanted to be around. He didn't know what the heck she was doing there. And what happened on those occasions when you all were together? You and Mr. Kelly when you were 14, 15, and 16 years old.
Sometimes we just hung out, or I would be in the studio, or sometimes we would have sexual engagement.
A moment, Your Honor. No further questions.
Okay, you can step down.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Judge, 960.
Witness excused. Call your next witness, please.
The United States calls Special Agent Melissa Sifferman. Can the witness be sworn, Your Honor?
Oh, excuse me, witness sworn.
He was asleep. He was asleep.
Before we start with this witness, who am I switching to?
You could be that witness.
Okay, let me switch my name for you guys. I'm not Jane anymore.
Oh yeah, and
am I gonna ever be anybody?
You could be her right now. The Pelosa that I told you to do her.
Oh, I can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right,
Mhm.
I'll do her.
Finish my husband.
I'm Melissa. Who is Melissa exactly?
She's special agent. The
Okay,
one
thank you.
that was covering the tapes. The one that was the one that was responsible for keeping the tape.
Thank
Okay,
you.
y'all ready?
Yep.
Yes. Hold on, I'm changing her name now. All right, go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. Witness sworn. The witness,
Perspective.
Oh, I do.
Miss Palazzo, you may question the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Melissa Sufferman. Sifffermann.
Where are you employed?
I'm a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations.
Is Homeland Security Investigations commonly referred to as HSI?
Yes, it is.
What is your job title?
A special agent.
How long have you been a special agent with HSI?
I was hired in January of 2003, so going on 20 years.
Is HSI a federal agency?
It is.
Specifically, is HSI one of the divisions within the Department of Homeland Security?
That's correct.
Is the Department of Homeland Security one of the departments of the executive branch of the United States?
Yes, it is.
Can you give us a general overview of the types of matters that HSI handles?
HSI investigates federal violations of law, and that can include Joint Terrorism Task Force, weapons of mass destruction, to narcotics, intellectual property rights, money laundering investigations, counter proliferations, and child exploitation and human trafficking.
Special Agent, you mentioned child exploitation. Are child pornography offenses included in that area that HSI investigates?
Yes, they are.
Now, you stated you've been with HSI for approximately 20 years, correct?
Yes.
Where were you initially assigned when you joined the agency?
I was initially assigned to a group that investigated aggravated felons that were non citizens, and then I was transferred over to a financial investigations unit, which investigates illicit proceeds. And then from there, I went to a small sub office in Hammond, Indiana, which covered all of the HSI's programmatic areas. That's all the areas that we investigate. And then I moved back to the financial unit. And then I was assigned to an administrative support unit for a couple of months. And then over the OCDETF strike force, which is an organized crime drug enforcement task force. And then I was eventually assigned to the human trafficking, smuggling, commercial sex unit. And I've been with them for about 8 years in that unit.
Are you currently assigned to the Human Trafficking and Smuggling Unit?
Yes.
Please generally describe your job responsibilities and duties as a special agent with the Human Trafficking and Smuggling Unit.
We receive leads that are assigned to us by different sources of information. And then we go out and corroborate those leads and determine if there is indeed a violation that would warrant prosecution. And we collect evidence and conduct reports and then present that matter to prosecution.
In your experience investigating violations of federal child pornography laws, are you familiar with the various ways child pornography is created and stored?
Yes, I am.
Can you explain to the jury some of the ways that child pornography is created and stored?
Well, when I began working for the government, it was approximately 20 years ago. So we were still looking more for photographs. So when we had reasons to believe or a search warrant was obtained, we would search homes for photographs and other matters. And as time progressed, it changed to videotapes, like cassette tapes. And then as technology advanced, you also had to change your search methods. So it would be hard drives and computers, for example, thumb drives, cameras, SIM cards, iPads, tablets. As technology advances, so does the production of child pornography. It's very similar to what you would say, like a movie that you saw in the 80s, for example, like E.T., or even a song on the radio. That was on VHS cassette tape. Eventually, as technology advanced, it would be transferred to DVD, and then it could be downloaded. I'm sorry, and then you could download it. And today, we can live stream it from our phones. It's still the same movie from the 80s. It's just now being transferred and contained on current digital media. So, child pornography is the same in that aspect. It's made it easier to produce, duplicate, and disseminate over the internet.
In your experience on child pornography investigations, hold on. Have you reviewed child pornography on some of these types of media you just described?
Yes,
And you also mentioned the internet. In your experience working, hold on. In your experience working on child pornography investigations, how does the internet factor into the possession and dissemination of child pornography?
well, like I explained, once something is on the internet, it again is like spread all over the internet because as that digital media is contained, the internet works so that people who can access it can access all sorts of different web pages or pictures or videos that are posted or downloaded. So it's kind of made like a digital primacy. So once you post something on the internet, it is extremely hard to remove it from that, if ever. And there's still like discussion if it can be done given the websites collect data and information each time the web address is put there. So those images, posts, productions, videos remain on the internet. Special Agent Sufferman, I'm sorry.
Special Agent Sufferman, in your role investigating child pornography offenses, can you walk us through what happens when you or your unit receives any item that contains suspected child pornography?
Right. So the first thing we have to do is to determine what type of media it's contained on. For example, like a thumb drive or a hard drive or a phone or cassette tape or a DVD. We transfer what we feel is the suspected child pornography into a working copy. And then from that, we use that working copy, for our investigation. We review it to determine if we can perhaps identify the victims and the perpetrators, the location, and when the video is taken. After that, we submit it to the NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And they act as a kind of like a decaflection for the law enforcement. And on that submission, they aid in helping us determine if the victim have already been identified, self-identified, or identified by other law enforcement, or if it's a new submission, type that type of thing. It just helps us determine where we are in our investigation, if we've successfully identified the perpetrator thus far, and what investigative steps need to be taken after that.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a few more questions about NCMEC in a minute, but first I want to focus a little more on when you received the item containing suspected child pornography. And you stated that you made a working copy, correct?
Yes.
Where are those items? Does HSI have produced procedures as to where those items are inventoried and stored?
Yes, that's correct. We have evidence guidelines and procedures put in place.
And can you describe what those procedures are at the general level?
So generally, when we have evidence, we always maintain it within HSI policy. And when something comes along like child pornography, for us, it's considered contraband. We secure that evidence. We always make sure it's in control and properly documented.
And is that true for any working copies that the agent makes for purposes of the investigation and review?
That's correct, because the working copies contain the child pornography. So we would need to secure that to ensure that it's not disseminated out to anyone else.
Do some of the child pornography investigations that you work on ultimately result in criminal charges?
Some of them do, yes.
And in those instances where there are criminal charges and ongoing criminal matters, what happens when a third party, such as the defendant, needs to have access to the child pornography that you've locked and secured in HSI custody?
So we make all of the child pornography readily available to the defense or the defense counsel, and we make sure that it's viewed in a secure location. We have an agent who is present there the entire time to ensure that the child pornography is not being produced and not disseminated out. So we make sure that it's in a controlled location. An agent is always present upon their viewing, but we just always make it readily available for their review.
Was that procedure followed in this particular case that we are here today?
Yes, it is. I specifically met with two of the defense teams, and I believe my supervisor met with the other defense team, and they viewed the child pornography in this investigation.
Now, you mentioned NCMEC. Can you take a step back and give us the definition of what NCMEC is again? What the name of the organization is?
Sure. So, NCMC, I'm sorry, NCMEC stands for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and they act as a dec- decafli- decafliction organization. It's a non-government, not-for-profit organization, and they actually work to collect images of missing children and with that also exploited children. So images are collected with them, and they help in the identification and rescue of children who are either missing or exploited. They also act as a conduit for law enforcement. You are able to see which law enforcement has already submitted any images that you currently submitted. And you're able to be put in contact with them and go over the investigation that may be of the same perpetrator.
So, in other words, it's a tool that you can use to coordinate across the country and different investigations on different investigations.
That's correct. They end up giving us a distribution report, and within that report, it just gives us some more information about how many times the suspected child pornography or confirmed child pornography has been submitted and who has previously submitted it.
Okay, now that we have some background about HSI and your job duties as they relate to child pornography investigations, I'd like to ask you some questions about this case. In the course of your work as a special agent at HSI, Did you become involved in the investigation of an individual named Robert Kelly?
Yes, I did.
When did you first become involved?
I believe it was in the middle of 2019, a couple of months in.
And when you became involved in the investigation of Robert Kelly, what was your role at that time?
The case was assigned to my unit, and I was considered a co-case agent.
And generally speaking, what does that mean to be the co-case agent?
We're just agents assigned to the case. We helped with the investigation.
After some time, did your role on the case change?
It did.
And when did that happen?
I'm not sure the exact date that it happened, but my previous coworker left the unit, and then I just ended up being the lead agent on the case.
And was one of those co-workers an agent called Amila?
That's correct.
During the course of your investigation and the involvement in the investigation of Robert Kelly, did you become familiar with Mr. Kelly's appearance?
Yes, I did.
And how did you do that?
Well, I was also familiar with Mr. Kelly's appearance previously, both from television performances and music videos, and then during the course of the investigation. I was able to review more of Mr. Kelly's working products and therefore identified him.
And during the course of your involvement in the investigation of Robert Kelly, did you become familiar with Mr. Kelly's voice?
I did.
And is that through similar means that you just described?
Yes.
During the course of your involvement in the investigation of Mr. Kelly, did you meet an individual that we are referring to as Jane?
Yes, I did.
Have you met with Jane in person multiple times during the course of the investigation?
Yes, I have, and also spoken over the phone with her as well.
During the time that you have spent with Jane, have you become familiar with Jane's appearance?
Yes, I have.
And during the time that you spent with Jane, have you become familiar with Jane's voice?
Yes, I have.
And Your Honor, that takes me to a stopping point, if I may. We have the publication is next.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, we're the judge.
All right. Outside the presence of the jury, you wanted to discuss apparently procedures for showing the.
You're on the wrong page.
Oh, sorry.
Your Honor fell asleep.
She sounds just like the Honor.
And somebody put it in the chat too. That's
She,
funny.
she says she acted just like the real judge.
Okay, am I on line
19.
22?
Yeah,
Yeah,
970.
yeah. 22, you're right. I'm just going to do it so we could keep going. All right. We will suspend now until 2 o'clock for lunch.
All rise. Proceedings heard in open court, jury out.
I did. All right. Outside the presence of the jury, you want to discuss apparently procedures for showing the.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. So during the morning break, we had a chance to walk around the courtroom a little bit more. And the main problem that we're seeing is that when you are in where the spectators are sitting, you can see the jury monitors. And we don't see a way to the jurors each have monitors in front of their seats. We are hard pressed after consultating with the various court personnel to come up with a way to ensure that the child pornography is not published to the public, as Your Honor ruled in advance of trial. Actually joined, Mr. Kelly joined that motion. We do not want these materials displayed to the public. Your Honor understood that. And I think what we're requesting is that the members of the public be removed from the courtroom. It's going to take about 30 minutes, I believe, at minimum, to get through those clips of the child pornography. So we are asking that be done, and just to protect the depictions from being publicized to the public.
Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Kelly, we didn't agree to a cleared courtroom. We agreed that it shouldn't be published. And I don't think every seat allows the public to see the screens that the jurors are looking at. So I'm not quite certain why that has to be the approach. And now I thought I heard that we were going to have 30 seconds to a couple of minutes of clips. Now I'm hearing 30 minutes that we have. We're going to be watching this. That's just different than what was stated earlier. So which one is it?
Your Honor, I think Miss Bogine is not understanding each clip is 30 seconds.
How many clips are there?
There's about 8 per video. It totals, oh shoot, someone take over a minute.
Oh my God.
It totals to about 5 to 6 minutes per 20 to 26 minutes video. We have significantly cut it down, but given the dispute of age, the jurors need to see how old this individual was in the video and her talking about her age. We have no way of further cutting it down and allowing them to see the evidence. We have the burden of proving count 1 through 3, and we are asking to show the clips that were prepared.
Your Honor, I don't know the dispute about age. I don't know what the government is referencing. She testified to what her age is. There's been no contrary testimony. That's really actually not really a basis for playing 30 minutes of alleged child pornography. You really only need 10 seconds to see that it's sexually explicit, which I even said in opening statements, that this is just unnecessarily prejudicial. All they have to prove is that it's sexually explicit. And if they want to put in a clip where she says her age, where she already testified to, then I suppose that's fine. But I don't think we should be subjected to, I certainly don't think
You're
the jury
breaking
should
up,
be.
Attorney Bongine. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
wasn't
can hear
breaking up
you.
for me.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
not breaking up for me.
I don't know. Okay. I certainly don't think the jury should be subjected to unnecessary and cumulative video evidence that adds nothing to the case.
Your Honor, this is the case. This is what the case is about. And if counsel wants to speculate to the fact that Jane was 14 years old in the video 1, 2, 3, and 4, we can have that discussion during break. But absent that, the government needs to prove that she was a child when Mr. Kelly had sex with her in those videos. I'm more interested in this precise moment and whether or not it's absolutely necessary to clear the courtroom. Where would those who are clear go? In the hallway, Your Honor. But then they can't hear the testimony. The testimony is going to be the audio of the clips and just reading from the transcript of the clips. And then, well, What are
I
we?
could take over.
What
Go ahead.
are we? The two jurors on each end, their videos, their screen would be viewed. Is that the problem?
Yes, standing in that area, you can see the juror screens. And we also have an issue with Mr. Kelly's wishes to view the evidence in the case. Everyone sitting behind him can also see his screen.
Well, that's just the press. They can go.
Nobody cares about the press. Is that is that what you suggesting? The press be removed also?
We are.
Judge, this is a public courtroom. You know, they want it both ways. They want to prosecute.
Where is the press supposed to go? They're entitled to cover.
Your Honor, we just don't want anyone to see the videos, as Your Honor ruled. And Miss Bonjean joined in the motion that the public should not see the videos. So I don't know why we're having a long of a suggestion about this now. If there
Why they
is
don't
a
want the
way,
public to see it? Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
if there is a way for people to sit in here and not see one of the 50 screens that is around the courtroom, we can do that. We just don't see a way to ensure that in this space.
And I think it can be accomplished if we are creative about it. They want to clear the courtroom unnecessarily. I think people can move up in the rows. I think people can, I'm sure there's some people that don't necessarily even care to be here. There's a way.
Yeah, what I'm going to suggest that we do this, those seated close to the jury, where they could view, will move over behind the press over there and over there. Same thing. Well, do it that way. I don't think we should close the courtroom. And what you hear is, I don't believe what they might hear over the, I don't believe it's problematic. It's the viewing of the person, not listening to her. She's spoken. We know what she said. She already testified what she said. So I don't think that's a problem. So we'll handle it this way.
And Your Honor, can I also, instead of doing this in front of the jury, we have our clips. They were made available to the defense.
All right. When we assemble at 2 o'clock, we'll have, before the jury comes in, we'll move the people around and do it that way.
And is there going to be any objection from defense counsel as we're showing the clips that we are being cumulative? These have been available to her. I would rather just get through this portion of the testimony without hearing any objections that we're showing too much.
Do any of the defense counsel object if we don't clear the courtroom?
Sorry, Your Honor. I was referring to the clips themselves. She seems to have an objection to the clips we're showing or the number of them. I would just like to address that here instead of in front of the jury.
I'm not going to object to it in front of the jury. I want to get through it too. But my objection, and the government keeps saying that we were on notice. I'm not making a notice objection. I am making a cumulative objection. 30 minutes of child pornography, as they call it, is unnecessary.
Your Honor, to clarify,
Well,
it's 5 minutes to 6 minutes per video.
I'm not going to prevent them. They are cutting it down. Originally, they wanted to play them all and I said we wouldn't do that. And they've cut it down to the 5-6 minutes per video. So I'm going to allow that over the objection of at least Mr. Kelly about the non-clearing of the courtroom. Do either of the defendant object if we don't clear the courtroom? Do it the way I'm suggesting.
No, we, on behalf of Mr. Kelly, we concur with the court's ruling. Judge, we're fine with that. We don't.
All right. We'll do it that way. One other thing before I forget. For your scheduling purposes, particularly for the government, on Tuesday, the 23rd, I have a matter I have to attend to. So we will have to adjourn at 2 o'clock on Thursday so that we don't schedule somebody. I don't want to inconvenience anybody.
The 23rd.
The 23rd is Thursday, Judge.
Listen.
Tuesday.
Yeah, but look at it. What it says. It says on Tuesday the 23rd, and then when you go down, it says on Thursday.
That's what I was like, huh?
I'm reading what's there.
But he finally realized.
Yeah, he messed it up. They had something. We was laughing about that too.
Tuesday the 23rd. Did I say Thursday? I meant Tuesday. So you'll get an early adjournment. I think what we probably will do is just not have lunch. We'll just quit at 2. All right? We'll see everybody at 2 o'clock. Recess from 1:03 p.m. to 2 p.m. And scene.
And scene, yeah.
Judge said, and I'm over it.
Wow. Girl, I love that judge. I would love to be in that courtroom because you know what? They would throw me out because I would be on the damn floor.
He wouldn't see you because he'll be asleep, girl. He'd just be sleeping away.
They would throw me the hell out.
Did all this happen in front of the juror, this last bit of conversation?
No, it was in front of us. In front of us, not the juror.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, all of this is happening, judge discussion. We want to show these clips.
Okay.
Oh, that was good.
Then we came back in the room, girl. They had blinders on each side of the jury was sitting in the jury thing. They had blinders on each side, so we couldn't see nothing. All we heard was, oh, daddy.
All right, get your acting skills on now.
Oh, my booty.
Sylvia's like, I said we can't say the words. You can't act it out either.
What we gonna do then, Sylvia? If we can't say what she said?
Are we done? Are we done now?
Oh wait, is that really going to be in the transcripts? Are we going to hear ooh? Wait, we just sing the song.
I don't know.
Oh wow!
I'm not playing that part. Oh wait, that's me.
Yeah.
Somebody said, has the tape been authenticated? Is what they're asking.
No, it hasn't been.
It's not authenticated. And I like how they tried to use this.
They said the witness is the one that's basically the one that's authenticating it because she's saying it was her.
But she didn't.
But look how they just tried to use this little officer lady to say, oh, we keep a database, we make a copy, so and so. But you're just now getting this case in 2019. Okay. Now I hope Bonjean said, okay, so you didn't have a copy of this video from 2002 because if it was child pornography, as you've described, you would have held this tape. But since it wasn't, because he was acquitted, you don't have this tape, right?
Take the rights.
I thought they had the tape in 2008.
No, 2002 is when that indictment came.
Okay, but when did?
So 2002 is when the indictment came.
Right.
But the court trial did not start until 2008. So they
Okay,
would have had that tape in
Yeah, they still would have had
2002.
the tape.
So they would
okay,
have
but
never they would have held it if it was child pornography.
Yeah.
But it
she went
wasn't.
away how many years before the trial that she went away to clear her mind?
6 years.
6 years.
Oh,
Felicia,
okay.
yeah, Bonji ain't gonna cross the lady. Yeah.
See, and I'm like, okay, so she put it on thick. Oh yeah, we do these, we make the copies, they're secure. Okay, where's this tape then?
Right.
They're
Where's the
secure.
secure tape that you made the copies from?
Big B said it was a premeditated tape. I called it premeditated tape. Yeah, them tapes was made up like a mud. Because remember, y'all, she said she didn't have sex. She didn't get her virginity, lose her virginity to 2000. I mean, till she was 15.
She was 15. So what's she talking about?
She's saying that it's a 14-year-old PUSSY.
Yeah, and riding it and stuff. So what's
So at this point, they can stop talking about 14 altogether. Let's move up 1 year. Right?
Well, we can't move up because they said on the tape it was 14.
Yep.
But she already testified that it was
right.
So.
Well, she lying. That's the whole point. She lying about everything.
Yeah. Now the problem is unseeing what they seen, or essentially getting to the fact that the tape is not authenticated.
Yeah, guys, y'all want to start? Do y'all still want to start reading it? Because I do have it if y'all want to.
Yeah, let's start.
No, I gotta go to bed.
I was about to say no. No.
Yeah,
I think we've been on hours.
Yeah, we've been on too long. It's 3 hours and 21 minutes. A little bit.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'll read.
How long? Me too. I'll read.
I can read.
Yeah, I'll stay.
I'll stay and read it.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed. Y'all
can
stay and read, but I gotta go to bed. I'm about to end this.
Oh, that's right. 8:30. Oh,
it's only 8.
How long is it? How long is
I
it?
gotta get up early in the morning.
How long is it, Sylvia?
It's 100 pages. 100 pages.
We can start it again. At least where they can hear that part.
Are you gonna do it tomorrow?
Let's do it tomorrow.
We gonna
get like buttons up in here. You want?
But we're gonna be behind. We're gonna be behind.
These people don't hit.
Yeah.
We're gonna be so far
these
behind.
people don't hit the like button.
Y'all gotta get the like button.
They don't hit the like button.
Get the like button up, y'all.
It's
They don't have
346. It's 346 likes.
Out of how many people?
They don't send me a new transcript until tomorrow on the following day anyway. So there's no transcript. So we won't have anything to read tomorrow anyway.
So it worked.
337 or something like that.
So we can read that tomorrow.
We have more likes than there are people right now, so that's good.
Yep.
351.
We have more likes than people? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. And the viewers are actually
they just want to
starting
read the part with the y'all some nasty people.
I just want to see me
y'all just want to hear that.
They want to hear that
nasty.
No. Y'all remember that song?
Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna send it to them. Hold on, guys.
Y'all playing. Lord have mercy, 100 page.
But we can decide where you're going to stop.
No,
that's another 3 hours, y'all.
When, with the what's the name? Hold on, we're gonna stop when the tape finishes. That's not the whole time. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Why is it so hot out here? Let's see.
That's like some dad. That's good for us.
He's making all that noise, y'all.
Sorry. Put me on mute.
I wonder how they're gonna spin these other two people who tried to extort him.
Check your email. I just sent it to y'all. Check your email.
I ain't get.
I don't have it yet.
Oh, powerful. I forgot to add you. Sorry, my bad.
Got it.
I think I added you, powerful.
Yeah, mine just popped up.
Huh?
Mine did too. Mine just popped up.
Powerful, you got it?
No.
Oh, my bad, powerful. Yeah, you should have it now, powerful. Tamira, you got yours? Henny, you reading and
I'm checking that.
perspective, you doing it.
I know I got outvoted. I got outvoted.
I said no. I did too. I said no, but they voted me.
Yeah, we got outvoted. Here we are.
Big B, no, I'm not sleepy yet, but I'm gonna get myself taking my shower, about to go to bed. That's what I'm about to do.
I know. I'm like, my kids missed me, y'all. I've been locked away.
Y'all hit the like buttons, y'all. Hit the like buttons. We're making sacrifice for y'all. Hit the like button. You see how the news is not reporting what we just read to you guys? That's we have to be in here to do
this HSI lady was boring anyway.
Thank you, those who just cash at me. Huh?
He says, "Hey, yo, let's go."
Sean said, "Let's go, let's go." Sean said, "Let's go, y'all."
Okay,
Y'all ready?
Go. Yep.
Y'all ready?
Go ahead,
In the United States District Court for Northern District of Illinois, Eastern District Division, United States,
it should be Northern.
United States of America, plaintiff versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, aka R. Kelly, Dowd McDavid, and Milton Brown, aka June Brown. Proceedings heard in open court, jury out. The jurors are all here, so we can get started.
Your Honor, during the break, we consulted with the clerk of the court, who had an idea that might be acceptable to everyone, and they're working on it now. The thought is to bring in a petition to block the jurors' cameras from being viewed by the gallery. And so my understanding is that that's fairly easy for them to do. They just want your permission to do that and bring that in and just put the petition in the alleyway, in the aisleway.
All right, bring it in. All right. Are we set? Everything's all set. Let's have the jury come in. Jury in. Please be seated. Ms. Palazzo, you may question the witness. Melissa Schifferman, government witness previously sworn, directed examination resumed.
Special Agent Schifferman, during this trial, there's been testimony about different arrest dates for Robert Kelly. Correct?
That's correct.
When was Mr. Kelly arrested for the charges in this case that we're here for today?
In July of 2019, July 12th, I believe.
During the investigation of Robert Kelly, did HSI receive evidence containing visual depictions of Robert Kelly engaging in sex acts with Jane?
Yes, we did.
In particular, there are 3 visual depictions that you will be testifying about today.
That's correct.
And for purposes of your testimony today, will you be referring to the visual depictions as video 1, video 2, and video 3?
Yes.
All right, Special Agent Sefferman, I'd like to direct your attention to what has been admitted into evidence as government exhibit number 2. Do you
Wait,
recognize that exhibit?
hold on, we skipped all the way down. Go back
Oh,
to go back down, or go back up to 12.
Not
12?
tired, we are, y'all.
And for purposes of your testimony today, will you be referring to the visual depictions as video 1, video 2, and video 3?
Yes.
Did powerful one take over? Okay. After HSI received the visual depictions referred to as video 1, video 2, and video 3, did HSI submit those videos to the agency we are talking about earlier, known as NCMEC?
And just for you guys to know, she is not Bonjean right now. She is
Somebody else.
prosecution. Okay.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay, I'll change my voice a little bit. After submitting the videos to NCMEC, did you later receive reports from NCMEC documenting information about videos 1, 2, and 3?
That's correct.
All right. Special Agent Sifferman, I'd like to direct your attention to what has been admitted into evidence as government exhibit number 2. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is a DVD of a digital imagery that we received from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office that we later found was to contain child pornography.
And prior to testifying here today, did you review the videos on government exhibit 2?
That's correct.
And are those video 2 and video 3?
Yes, both videos 2 and 3 are contained on this particular DVD.
How do you know that the DVD marked as government exhibit 2 contains the scenes that you reviewed?
I reviewed the DVD for videos 2 and 3, and then I put my initials here and the last date that I reviewed it.
I'd like to start by asking you questions about the video recording that we are calling video 3 from start to finish. Sorry, Judge, but we are having a closed courtroom because it doesn't.
It doesn't what?
I
can't hear you, counsel.
I'm just wondering, it looks like the courtroom is actually closed. I thought the court ruled that it was not going to close the courtroom.
There are several spectators that I'm looking at sitting in the gallery right now, Your Honor.
I did not order it closed. If people aren't in here, I assume it's because they chose not to come. I have no idea.
That's not the case. There is a long line of people out there, I believe.
Well, I don't know. The door should be open, I guess, and let them in.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes.
From start to finish, is the video depicted called video 3 approximately 21 minutes and 30 seconds long?
That's correct.
Have you reviewed the video in its entirety?
Yes, I have.
Have you identified the individuals in video 3?
Yes, I have.
Who are they?
The individual known as Jane and Mr. Robert Kelly.
Did you prepare a transcript documenting the words being said by Jane and Mr. Kelly?
Yes, I did.
All right, I'm going to hand you a binder that contains an exhibit marked as Government Exhibit 203. Can you turn to the exhibit and let me know whether you recognize it?
Yes, I do. I recognize this to be the transcription that I prepared for video 3.
And you stated that video 3 is approximately 21 minutes and 30 seconds long, correct?
That's correct.
Prior to your testimony today, were shorter clips prepared of video 3?
That's correct.
Have you reviewed the clips that were prepared?
Yes, I have.
All of the clips contain footage taken from the full-length version of video 3, correct?
That's correct.
In total, there were 9 clips prepared for video 3. Is that right?
That's correct. Didn't they say there was going to be 6 clips?
And what is the range length of the time for the different clips that will be published today?
I would say 10 seconds to 2.5 minutes.
And Your Honor, at this time, we'd like to publish the first clip. So we would request that the feed to the overflow rooms be disconnected by your clerk and that the video monitors be turned off. And I think we just need a minute to confirm.
All right. They should be disconnected and turned off.
I'd like to start by publishing the first clip of video 3 marked as Government's Exhibit 3-A. For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of the Government's Exhibit 2, timestamp 21:30 to 22:29?
That's correct.
Does this clip include the beginning of video 3?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, at this time, the government publishes Government's Exhibit 3-A.
Proceed.
The audio is not working, Your Honor.
Is the audio on the headphones or is...
It should be working now.
It's
not working.
working.
Try now.
No.
Okay, it seems to be working now. Thank you for your patience.
All right.
The government is This is Government Exhibit 3-A. Video clip played in open court. Special Agent Sifferman, at the beginning of this clip, is the camera being adjusted?
It is.
After the camera is adjusted, does Mr. Kelly then appear in the frame of the video?
He does.
Towards the end of the clip, does Mr. Kelly look over in the direction of the camera?
He does.
Following the clip marked as Government's Exhibit 3-A, does Jane continue to perform oral sex on Mr. Kelly?
She does.
Next, we will publish the second clip of video 3 marked as Government's Exhibit 3-B. Video clip played in open court. And for the record, does this clip, Government Exhibit 3-B, contain footage from the portion of Government's Exhibit 2, timestamp 2309 to 2340?
It does.
Following the clip marked as Government's Exhibit 3-B, what does Mr. Kelly direct Jane to do?
He continues to provide her direction on what she should do with her body.
Next, will we publish the clip of video 3 marked as Government's Exhibit 3-C? For the record, does the clip contain footage from the portion of the Government's Exhibit 2, timestamp 2715 to 2951?
It does.
During this clip, Mr. Kelly out of the camera frame for the majority of the clip?
Yes.
And what is he doing?
Adjusting the camera.
Judge, I'm going to object to the characterization. I mean, We're all watching it. I think people can draw their own conclusions. I'm not sure why.
Your Honor, can we go to it at a sidebar if counsel has a conversation about an objection?
Well, I think what I don't think we need a description of what he is doing. So I think that I sustain the objection.
Yay.
The government will publish Government's Exhibit 3C, video clip played in open court. Next, we will publish the next clip of video 3 marked as Government's Exhibit 3-D. Special Agent Sifferman, for the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of the Government's Exhibit 2, timestamp 30:45 to 31:25?
That's correct.
Uh-oh.
Next, we will publish Government Exhibits 3-E. For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of Government Exhibit 2, timestamp 32:01 to 33:55?
Yes, it does.
All right. There's 2 more clips to publish. The next one is Government Exhibit 3G. And looking at your transcript marked as Government Exhibit 203, first, is your transcription for this part of the video contained on page 11, line 5 through page 12, line 13?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you to read that portion of the transcript starting on page 11, line 5. My colleague Brian Williamson will read the statements that are written for Mr. Kelly. I am going to object, Your Honor. This is, if they want to use it as an aid, that's fine, but this is not a certified transcript. And I don't think it's appropriate to be reading into the record a non-certified transcript. I think the proper way to do it is if it's used as an aid for the benefit of the jury to have.
That's right. Can't you just show the transcript so they can hear it? Is that what you're going to do?
Yes, Your Honor. We do have copies of the transcript for the jury, but due to the short nature of the clips that we did, we wanted to make sure that certain statements were heard. The clips go fairly quickly, so that was why we are proposing to do it this way. But I can play the clip, and then you can pass out the transcripts later if we feel that's necessary.
Judge.
All right. Why don't you do it like that? Do it that way.
Okay. Is she back?
Nah, I was gonna say
Okay, yeah, go on.
Okay, so this is Government Exhibit 3G. For the record, does this clip contain footage for the portion of Government Exhibit 2, time step 38:20 to 39:16?
Yes.
And finally, the last clip for Government Exhibit, it will be Government Exhibit 3F. And Special Agent Schifferman, does this clip contain footage from Government Exhibit 2, time skip stamp 34:30 to 35:16?
Yes, it does.
Now, I like to, is it me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'd like to turn to the video recording that we are calling Video 2. From start to finish is the video depicted called Video 2, approximately 23 minutes long, 21 minutes and 30 seconds long.
That's correct.
Have you reviewed that video in its entirety?
Yes, I have.
Have you identified the individuals in video 2?
I have.
Who are they?
They are the individuals known as Jane and Mr. Kelly.
And again, did you prepare a transcript documenting the words said by Jane and Mr. Kelly in video 2?
Yes, I did.
Please turn to the exhibit in your binder marked as Government's Exhibit 202. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, I do. This
You,
is the transcript that I prepared from video 2.
you stated that video 2 is approximately 21 minutes and 30 seconds long. Is that right?
That's correct.
Prior to your testimony today, were shorter clips prepared of video 2?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the clips that were prepared?
Yes, I have.
And all of those clips contain footage taken from the full-length version of video 2, correct?
That's correct.
In total, were there 9 clips prepared for video 2?
Yes.
Approximately how long do the clips range in time?
About 10 seconds to around 2.5 minutes. 2 minutes.
I'd like to start by publishing the first clip of video 2, marked as Government's Exhibit 2-A. For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of Government's Exhibit 2, time-stamped 104 to 116?
Yes, it does.
And does this clip include the beginning of video 2?
Yes.
The government will now publish clip 2A.
Yeah. Ooh.
Video clip played in open court.
Next, we will publish the second clip of video 2, marked as Government's Exhibit 2B. Go ahead, I can't.
For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of Government Exhibit 2, timestamp 316 to 428?
Yes.
Video clip played in open court.
Special Agent Schifferman, based on your review of the entire video marked as Government Exhibit 2, was something playing on the TV in this clip?
Yes, it was.
And what did it appear to be?
Pornography.
Again, I'm going to object to.
And we have a sidebar, Your Honor.
Proceedings heard at the sidebar on the record.
Sidebar.
Let me pull
They
down.
trying not to have her do any objections in front of the jury.
End of sidebar.
Okay.
The government, I'm sorry. The government will now play, I'm sorry, Government Exhibit 2-C, video clip played in open court. All right, Special Agent Sifferman, I am going to jump ahead to Government's Exhibit 2-E. For the record, does this clip contain footage from Government Exhibit 2, timestamp 1048 to 1236?
Yes, it does.
And once again, jumping ahead to Government Exhibit 2-H. For the record, does this clip contain footage timestamp 1722 to 1847?
Yes, it does.
Now, I'd like to direct your attention to the last video that has been admitted into evidence, and that is a video recording that we are calling Video 1. From start to finish, is the video depicted called Video 1 approximately 26 minutes and 42 seconds long?
Yes, it is.
Have you reviewed that video in its entirety?
Yes, I have.
Have you identified the individuals in Video 1?
Yes, I have.
Who are they?
Who are they? Did you? Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
13.
The individual known as Jane and Mr. Robert Kelly.
Did you prepare a transcript documenting the words being said by Jane and Mr. Kelly in Video 1?
Yes, I did.
Please turn to the exhibit in your binder marked as Government's Exhibit 201. Do you recognize it?
Yes, this is the transcript that I prepared for Video 1.
And you stated that Video 1 is approximately 26 minutes and 42 seconds long, correct?
Yes, it is.
Prior to your testimony today, were shorter clips prepared of Video 1?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the clips that were prepared?
Yes, I have.
And do all the clips contain footage from the full-length version of video 1?
Yes, they do.
And ranging in time, about how long are the clips?
About 10 seconds to, I think, 2 minutes.
And Special Agent Sifferman, earlier I handed you one of the discs. I will now hand you the government's Exhibit 1 that has been admitted into evidence and ask that you review the exhibit and identify it.
Yes, I do.
And is that the disc containing video 1 from which the clips were prepared?
Yes, this is a DVD that contains the visual depiction that we are calling video 1.
And how do you know that that's the video depiction and you personally reviewed?
I've reviewed it, and the last time that I reviewed it, I put my initials and the date on it.
I'd like to start by publishing the first clip of video 1, marked as Government's Exhibit 1-A. For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of the Government's Exhibit 1, timestamp 35 seconds to 1 minute and 28 seconds?
Yes, it does.
Does this clip include the beginning of video 1?
Yes.
Video clip played in open court. Special Agent Sifferman, does the oral sex continue past the clip that was just shown in Government's Exhibit 1-A?
Yes, it does.
I'd like to now publish Government's 1-B. For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of the Government's Exhibit 2? Government's Exhibit 1, timestamp 5 minutes 35 seconds, 5:35 to 7:15?
Yes, that's correct.
Video clip played in open court. Moving now to Government Exhibit 1-C. For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of the Government's Exhibit 1, timestamp 7:58 to 8:34?
Yes, that's correct.
Video clip played in open court. Special Agent Sifferman, we will jump ahead to the clip that has been marked as Government's Exhibit 1-H. For the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of Government's Exhibit 1, timestamp 1840 to 1910?
Yes, it is.
Video clip played in open court. And finally, the last clip is marked Government's Exhibit 1-J. And for the record, does this clip contain footage from the portion of the Government's Exhibit 1, timestamp 22 minutes to 23 minutes and 30 seconds?
Yes, it does.
Video clip played in open court. Before we go back on the record, that concludes the viewing of the clips.
Amen.
Okay, y'all, that was it.
Amen.
Thank you.
Can I go to
And where
bed?
did we pick up?
Can I go to bed now, y'all?
You can, but I actually am looking forward to Bonjean getting her now. See, it's all y'all fault.
So you want Bonjean? Okay, let's do Bonjean then. Come on, y'all.
Oh, I didn't say we had to keep going. I was on team.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get it over with. Let's get it over with. Come on.
Where is it? Where we are? Where are we?
Where we are.
Right after, what page are we on, guys?
Wait,
You see everybody delirious.
Do it later.
Line 15.
Guys, do y'all want us to keep going, or do you want me to go get some rest?
You have to go. You have to get up. Ms.
Yeah, we
Sylvia.
need to
gotta
stop
be
so
real.
we'll have something to read tomorrow.
Yeah, because we won't have a transcript until the next day.
Exactly.
Tuesday morning, so we might as well have
this
something
goes
to
a
read
long
tomorrow.
ways.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an update, but I'm also going to give you some reading too.
I'm team quit for the day, so
yes, me too.
I can be excited for tomorrow.
Sean, come on, let's go. No, Sean.
So what time tomorrow?
We can keep
Ms.
going.
What time tomorrow?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and give them an update, because let me tell you, because of little threats, I'm not getting on the train so people could see me anymore. So I'm going I'm gonna come on after I get out from court.
You know what? No, get on, because if people are threatening, we need to be able to see it on video.
Okay, I'll get on.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no.
so
I
what
would
time
rather
are we
you
going
not
to
be on.
read tomorrow?
Okay, Bonjean don't come on to 33. So I'm that's what I was just letting y'all know.
33. What does that mean?
Look at Sean. Sean said, "Go."
Page 33. She comes
We
on
can
page
keep
33.
going.
Oh, okay. And we on 22.
Yeah, I just went
Yeah,
all the way
no.
down. Bonjean said, I have a few questions, but it looks like go ahead. Oh wait. And it says cross-examine.
Look, say saying stop at 9. Hey, Linda,
No.
I
Linda,
said
Yeah, we
I
we
don't
gotta
can
get to do
go.
we
that.
can stop
Yeah, she
at
got to go to
9.
sleep.
She can
Linda,
go.
I gotta go to bed because I get up early in the morning. I
Yeah.
get up 4.
Go to sleep. We want you at that courthouse. Don't you oversleep.
Right.
No, she has
So you
Don't
just
y'all
tell
want
us
me
what
there?
time for tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I should be because court finishes at 5 o'clock, so I should be back here
no later than.
no later than 6. About 6:30. Let's start.
Okay.
6:30 this time, which is 7:30.
Sounds like a plan.
In Eastern time. Okay.
Oh, I can't do nothing until after 7:30.
Well, no, I'm gonna go give a breakdown of what happened, and then after that, we're gonna start reading, which is gonna be about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she tried to get two. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So it's 7:30 Eastern time.
Yeah,
Okay.
7:30 Eastern time. But before then, I'm gonna get on 6:30. Give y'all a breakdown what happened in court and stuff like that. I might give it to you while I'm riding.
Okay. Whichever you feel.
All
But
right.
I'll be here 7:30
Yes. All right, guys.
Eastern time.
See you guys and tomorrow. Y'all better hit those like buttons. I'm not playing.
All right.
Amen.
Good night.
Mm-hmm.
Have
We
a blessed
376.
night.
Good night.
Yes,
Good
I will
night.
take good
Bye,
notes,
everybody.
Lake Eric. I'll
Blessings.
take the
Prayers
notes.
up for Kels.
All right, prayer. Don't forget, y'all, the prayer channel, the groups that's been praying. Please continue your prayer for him. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for your support. Hit the like button. Bye.